All right, how's it going, my magnificent sons of bitches? Now, I'm back again today because we all know that the NFL is just as fake as the WWE is.
Facts.
So, we know it's scripted, we know it's rigged. I hear the people on Twitter all the time, Stephen Rose, it's rigged, it's rigged, it's rigged, it's scripted, it's TV. We know that, right? So, I got my buddy here, Stephen Rose. You want to go and introduce yourself, Stephen?
Oh yeah. Well, I'm Stephen Rose, aka True Shall Set You Free. I've been a YouTuber, God, since probably like 2013, 2014. I do sports videos. Me and Prodigal from time to time when when our schedules congeal, we'll cover like into the world type of scenarios, conspiracy videos, and then occasionally I'll pick up on wrestling. I do a couple wrestling videos here or there now that I know The Rock's back, so it's got me all excited for WrestleMania. I do sports videos. Sometimes I do dating topic videos, but not too much as like I used to. Then of course sometimes I'll just do random live streams. I tend to go live every night now. It seems like, and just cover bullshit trolling videos. Bring the trolls in, the shields and stuff. Kind of have a little fun with them. And other than that, man, just collabing with other YouTubers and going on other shows and doing videos like sort of what I'm doing right now, like I'm on your channel. So my channel is called True Shall Set You Free, sort of like our truth says is, may True Shall Set You Free. I just put True Shall Set You Free. Or you can type in Stephen Rose and find my channel there.
And we got our buddy Big Kev with us too. We're gonna book some. We're gonna book some NFL seasons. Uh, Big Kev. So you want to go and introduce yourself?
No, sorry. So I am formerly of Kev's point of view. As some of you used to know me from the TTC, I used to do that, and now I am Big Kev's World. Kevzilla, whatever you want to call me, Kevomania. We all run wild here on YouTube, and we're going to run wild on this video, and we're going to lay it, smack it down, and we're going to make some crybabies cry, and that's what we're here to do.
We're here to make the NFL life a little bit better for the commissioner who books this shit, Roger Goodell. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna book a season. And I know that everybody's gonna be like, oh well, it ain't fair because you got a Cowboys fan representing, you got Steven Rhodes and he's a Texan. I can guarantee you I'm not gonna be kind to my team. And we're not gonna be kind to our team. So don't worry, little NFL shills and whatnot. I got records of what I think is going to happen, and so it's basically WWE, and
Facts.
so I think we're gonna be fair scripting it. So I've put the record down. I've put a wrestler down by these, and so we're gonna sit there and see how we can get as much drama in this season for these current football sports YouTubers and shit to sit there and talk about and cry about for the rest of the season. So does this sound good, guys?
Sounds good to me, man. Let's do it.
You know what? Since y'all both are the AFC South and I am the NFC East, we'll go ahead and start with outside where it's no bias whatsoever. So we'll start with the NFC North. All right.
All right.
So I have the Packers winning this, and this is what it is. This is just going off of here because we have to have a base for our kayfabe, and so I have the Packers winning because I put AJ Styles with the Packers,
Oh.
and the reason why is because everybody kind of likes AJ Styles and like everybody kind of likes the Packers. When the Packers are in it, people tend to root for the Packers. You know what I'm saying? Okay. They're kind of like this dark horse, and that seems to be what AJ Styles' character is, the dark horse. People will root for AJ Styles. People will root for the Packers. So, Detroit Lions, right? Now, Pat McAfee, of course, loves the Indianapolis Colts, and I would love to put Pat McAfee with the Indianapolis Colts. I just can't, right? However, I'm going to put him with a team that he really likes too, which is the Detroit Lions. So as the Detroit Lions, I have them finishing at number close in the division. Probably going to end up getting a wild card. But I put them as Pat McAfee.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have the Minnesota Vikings. I don't believe that they're going to make the playoffs. I got them going 7-10. But I have Sami Zayn for the Minnesota Vikings because, they're kind of there, but, you often sleep on them a little bit. They're there. They're just there to, as a spot filler, basically. And then Chicago Bears, I have going 5-12 because they're going to go ahead and get the next Patrick Mahomes, Caleb Williams. And I don't know if they're going to be able to put anything around this guy. It's just starting all over. To me, he's just like another Justin Fields. So I'll put them as Dom Mysterio. So let's go ahead and let's go ahead and write some kayfabe. Let's go ahead and make this division interesting with AJ Styles, Pat McAfee, Sami Zayn, and Dom Mysterio, the Packers, the Detroit, Minnesota, and Chicago. So how is this season working out in the NFC North? We'll start with you, Steven. We'll go ahead and let you set the template.
All right, so, since you already pretty much named all the wrestlers for the NFC North, will Detroit end up repeating, or will it just be kind of like a one-hit wonder sort of ordeal? And the Packers, don't get me wrong, they're an up-and-coming team. I think the Bears have kind of rescinded after trading Justin Fields. They're going to have to go with Bajent. Not necessarily know where that's going to go. And then, of course, you got who's the other one? Bears, Packers, Vikings. Vikings just got Bernard.
I couldn't have picked it better. Sami Zayn, you already forgot about the Vikings being part of the NFC North. See, it's just like Sami Zayn. Everybody forgets that, this motherfucker's in an elimination chamber. Oh, he knew he wasn't going to win it.
Okay, well, I'm going to put the Bears and the Vikings at the bottom because they lost both of their star quarterbacks. So whatever wrestler you put for them, the team obviously has to perform. They're not going to be able to carry that team to win that division. So they're probably going to be in full rebuild mode with those two teams because they lost the head of the snake. No Cousins, no Fields. And that just leaves out, the Packers, and that leaves out the Lions, right? And so who did you have for the Lions as your wrestler?
Pat McAfee.
Pat McAfee, and then who you got as Packers? You got AJ Styles.
AJ Styles. So who's gonna do the heel turn in this division? Who's the heel?
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go with the Packers to overcome the Lions. I think the Lions just hit a one-hit wonder there. So give me AJ Styles to win the NFC North.
Okay, so you got is it a heel? Is it a heel Packers? Do they turn heel?
I think they'll still be a face. I think they'll still be a face.
Okay, so they're not going to do the tush push or anything, right?
Uh-uh.
They're not going to do any. Okay, so how about you, Big Kev? Who do you got as the face, and who do you got as the dark horse? Who do you have as the underdog, and are the jobbers or whatnot? Well, how is this going to work out? How do you think that the NFC North is going to work out?
Well, I think the underdog is going to be the Chicago Bears. And the reason why I say the Bears is because now that you put Dirty Dom in there with them, I think Dominic Mysterio will get suspended for the first 4 games of the season. And then he will he'll gradually come into it. Him and Caleb Williams will get a little bit of a feel with each other. Minnesota is down at the bottom of the barrel. Sami Zayn will probably get released halfway during the season. He'll be out in the parking lot with a sign that says, "We'll wrestle for food." But then I have Detroit and Green Bay going head to head. Josh Jacobs joining Green Bay now. I think AJ Styles would be a great receiver for Jordan Love. They got into the playoffs. They squeaked in there. They did beat Dallas in the playoffs. Is Detroit going to be the one-hit wonder? I think Green Bay is going to do a heel tactic. AJ is going to come in there into the house of Detroit. He's going to kick Pat. He's going to kick Pat McAfee in the nuts. Green Bay is going to slip by and get that division. So I think Green Bay is going to win the NFC North.
I think that the ghost of do you think that the ghost of Lambeau is going to come in and whenever he heel kicks, just drop kicks, does that little Pele kick to fucking fucking Dan Campbell's nuts Do you think that the ghost of
man, that's going to be interesting.
Do you think that the ghost of I was going to say, do you think that the ghost of Lombardi comes out? 1, 2, 3, and he'll.
Or how about this? The ghost of Judah Tribe comes and low blows fucking Dan Campbell. You know.
well, if you're going to have Judah Tribe, you might as well have Harambe with Chicago as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, but I think what's going to happen is Green Bay is finally. Everybody always talks about how Green Bay is the good guys. Green Bay is going to be the bad guys. They're going to be the one that we want to see lose, but won't lose, because everybody thinking that Detroit is that internet darling, the team that got to the NFC Championship last year. And what's going to happen is that Pat McAfee is going to get close to winning it. He's going to miss the field goal. And I think Green Bay will win this division.
All right.
So, well, here's what I think is going to happen. And I agree with everybody on the panel so far. We think that it's probably going to be Green Bay. I think what happens is, Pat McAfee, he's hulking up and stuff like that. He's got the rock. He's got his little skinny jeans on, and he's fixing to go with chugging, right? And he's about to get this. He's about to get this division for the second year in a row. This time, no mistakes. All of a sudden, he's getting set up because he knows he's got the division wrapped up. All he has to do is win out. And what Dirty AJ Styles does, heel AJ Styles does, is he goes, you know what? We're going to go ahead and give you a couple of our wide receivers here, to go ahead and help you this game. Just call them Smith and Jones, all right? And they're going to send them to Chicago, and they're going to end up costing Pat McAfee his Money in the Bank title. And then they're going to go on to WrestleMania for, I think that we'll have to book WrestleMania, the playoffs, when we get there. But
okay. All right. So before we move on to the next division, I think what we should do is I'm going to write down all the wrestlers you got for every team so I don't forget. Like I just did now. Who do you got for the Bears again? Who's the Bears wrestler?
Dominic Mysterio.
Oh, shit. Okay. And here's the thing. So we'll pick the division winners of each division. And then once we do that, then we picked our 3 wild card guys.
Right. Yeah.
Then we determine our matches. Okay, let's go.
Okay.
Let's go next division.
So the next division is the AFC North, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I got the Baltimore Ravens. Mm-hmm. And the Baltimore Ravens, I have them going 14-3. It seems like they're a powerhouse. They're very unstoppable. They tend to get hung up in the playoffs, but they are legitimate badasses. So for them, I got the Scottish Warrior, Drew McIntyre.
Okay.
That's who they are. So the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? Pittsburgh Steelers are fucking legends. I don't like the Pittsburgh Steelers. They've beaten my Cowboys twice in the Super Bowl, but we did get one back. Thank you very much. But you understand what a legend is, right? You understand what a legend is. So I had to put, since they put this man back on the roster, rightfully so, should have never taken him off, I put Brock Lesnar for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Whoa.
Okay, for the Cincinnati Bengals, they're kind of that, up-and-coming team that everybody kind of likes. They kind of appeal. So here's my first NXT guy. I've got Dijak because, that guy is legitimate badass. He's going to have a future in this business. He could be the next Undertaker. So I wanted to go ahead, try to get this guy's name out there. And that's Dijak. And for the Cleveland Browns, everybody likes the Cleveland Browns, to be honest with you. They're likable, but they're kind of jobbers and, they're lackluster. So for them, I've got R-Truth. So I'll go ahead and start it with you, Big Kev. Go ahead and start off the booking. How is this kayfabe gonna work out right here for the NFC North?
I think we're gonna have a 3-headed race between the Ravens, the Steelers, and the Bengals. R-Truth's gonna cost Cleveland some games because he's gonna run the other direction and give the other team a touchdown or or
Be
something like that.
confused when he gets there, right?
Yeah, he's gonna be confused, and when they face like Cincinnati, he's gonna put on a Cincinnati uniform, not realizing that he's supposed to be in Cleveland and not really. Uh, I do think the Ravens are going to win this division. I think with with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson and with that crew and having, I think Brock is going to get Pittsburgh into, is going to get them there because with him and T.J. Watt, you put Brock on that defense with T.J. Watt, Brock's going to be over there German suplexing every last one of them, but then he's going to have a little bit of a showdown, a stare down with Dijax. And I think Dijax is going to give Brock a taste of his own medicine and a little run of his own money. But I do got the Ravens winning this division.
So you got Drew McIntyre, the Scottish Warrior.
I think what Drew's going to do is Drew's going to act like he's all nice and everything, and he's going to wait until Dijax and Brock are fighting, and then he's going to kick them both.
Okay.
And then go over there and get that 1, 2, 3.
With that Claymore.
With that Claymore, going to kick him right in the face to both of them. And then R-Truth's going to get there late, and then he's going to realize that he was supposed to play for the Cleveland Browns all this time, and he's been playing with the opposite team every time he plays a game. So,
and then he's going to go. He's going to go to the NFC North and try to join the NFC North.
Right.
So, what about you, Steven? How do you got booking for the NFC or the AFC North?
Well, let me tell you something. I actually was like, at first, I'm like, he gave Pittsburgh Brock Lesnar, and I'm like, now it kind of makes sense because they added a two-headed monster at the quarterback position. You're going to have Russell Wilson.
I saw that.
You're going to have Justin Fields. You basically got two starters. Basically, like one guy gets hurt, you still got the other guy. So that's going to be a big weapon against Drew McIntyre in Baltimore to match Baltimore's run game with Derrick Henry. And now it takes the pressure off of Lamar Jackson. Sort of what Dak needs is that running back like Derrick Henry. I said Cowboys should have went after him, but the Ravens and Pittsburgh, I think, hands down, are going to be the number 1 and number 2 team in that division. And with Dijak being with Cincinnati, still on the up and coming, he still got his AJ Green, he still got his Joe Burrow and company. They traded away Joe Mixon, of course, but at the same time, I think Cincinnati is going to take a step back. I think they're going to fall to 3rd in that division. I think Dijak's on the up and coming and everything, but it's just not going to be enough to carry the Bengals over. And that's Cleveland with R-Truth makes perfect sense. You got the sexual Watson over there and company. You got DKR. You got the explosive 4th-ranked defense that got pummeled by the Houston Texans in the wild card game. And, of course, you got the kind of like bumble and stumbling Joe Biden as the owner over there and Jimmy Haslam. So, who's been ripping off minority truck owners. So with that being said, it kind of makes perfect sense to put R-Truth in this scenario. So you just got a clusterfuck of nothing but a bunch of the Three Stooges there. So this sort of makes sense. Cleveland will be at the bottom of this division, even though they signed Jameis Winston, which was supposed to be their biggest signing. And
I'll have you know, Stephen Rose, I'll have you know this right here. You may not be aware of this. Big Kev may not be aware of this. But the Cleveland Browns did sign Little Jimmy.
Oh, shit. So they signed Little Jimmy. So
they signed Little Jimmy.
Cleveland Browns will be at the bottom of this division. I'm going to go ahead and say that the Baltimore Ravens will win the play safe. I think the addition of Derrick Henry that complement that run game with of course, Jackson will be enough.
Yeah.
So.
By the way, Prodigal, before you say it, I think when we finally see R-Truth in that Cleveland Browns uniform, he's going to go into the Cleveland Hall of Fame, and he is going to put on that. He's going to put on, the Brown jersey. He's gonna he's gonna think that he's the running back. He's gonna think that he's the future Hall. He don't think he's a Hall of Famer. And he's going to put on that. He's going to go into the running game, and then as soon as he goes right up the middle, Dijax is going to take his head off. So that's just what's going to happen.
Yeah, well, to be fair, if he makes it all the way up there to the Hall of Fame, we should just go ahead and let him have that jacket, But We'll go ahead and get into the AFC or the NFC. We'll get in the NFC South.
Okay.
So
I had the 10-7 Atlanta Falcons. I think that the Atlanta Falcons are set to make a run this year. I have a good feeling about them. So I went ahead and put CM Punk for the Atlanta Falcons.
Okay.
Kind of get out there. Let's get something done, right? Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't know this guy. I don't know how. Kev probably knows him a little bit better than me. But his win loss rate looked like it was about, it would match up pretty well. I got him with the 9-8 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Kind of reminded me a little bit of Baker Mayfield a little bit, so that's why I put him over there.
So
New Orleans.
Who's the wrestler for Tampa Bay?
Jack Dempsey.
Ah.
New Orleans. Since, to me, like, New Orleans always hangs around Chicago. You know what I'm saying? It's like usually whenever Chicago makes the playoffs, New Orleans makes the playoffs. So I felt it only right to put Damian Priest as the New Orleans Saints.
Okay.
And, of course, Carolina Panthers, since whenever they hit the field, they're going to lose. I put Austin Theory next to them.
Ooh.
So, let's go ahead and start
with the Panthers?
Yeah, I put Austin Theory with the Panthers. Let's go ahead and book this NFC South so we can get to your AFC South.
All right, so I'm going first.
You're going first, Steve.
You picked Atlanta, right, to get over with CM Punk.
Well, shit, you got to match the wrestler with the team, but then, of course, the team's got to be able to back up the wrestler. And Atlanta picked up a quarterback, right? They gave
Cousins.
Mm-hmm.
They got Cousins, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, if they got Cousins, he's got a lot of experience, right? I think Tampa Bay and New Orleans will be at the bottom. So Jack Dempsey and Austin Theory will be at the bottom this year. I think Damian Priest will give a challenge to CM Punk. They're going to be in the ring exchanging blows, sort of that Royal Rumble last two entry. But I'm going to go ahead and go with Atlanta Falcons to get the edge. And I wouldn't even be surprised they're both tied at 9-7, and Atlanta somehow breaks the tiebreaker. It's like literally a thread. Both teams are evenly matched. But I'm going to go ahead and go with Atlanta to win at like 9-8, and they both end in a tie for that division. But they break the tiebreaker somehow, like better division record or some shit like that.
Atlanta gets somebody in there to go ahead. They pay off the referees. And then the final play of the season, is that what you're saying? The referees sit there, and Atlanta's clearly holding every fucking wide receiver for the New Orleans Saints, just clearly, blatantly holding them. And the referee turns around, and whenever the quarterback throws it, because he doesn't have any, he's trying to throw it out of the bounds, the fucking the official's just going to say, first down, Atlanta, and they're just going to give him the ball. Is that what you're saying is going to happen, Steven?
Yeah.
So what about you, Big Kev? Who's going to be the heel in this division? It looks like Steven's got CM Punk as the heel.
The Atlanta Falcons, and you want to know why? I think that Ric Flair is going to become the manager of the Atlanta Falcons to screw over Carolina. He's going to have his own personal referee, Little Nate, Charles Robinson. I think CM Punk is going to be the next Deion Sanders. Instead of prime time, it's going to be pipe bomb time. So he's going to be guarding every receiver New Orleans has got. New Orleans did pick up Chase Young here today.
Oh,
to a 1 year, $13 million. Damian Priest is going to be a pretty good asset for Derek Carr. Derek Carr struggled last year. Carolina's going to be there way down at the bottom. I hate, God rest your soul, Camel Toes, but your team should have never drafted who they drafted as a quarterback last year. I think we all kind of would go with that assumption. But I think the CM Punk and the Atlanta Falcons are going to be the dirty birds, the real dirty birds.
Oh.
And they're going to do whatever they're going to do. CM Punk's going to get into people's heads. He's going to start talking shit to people. He's going to rough up some people, do some pipe bombs, probably talk about some players' moms and their girlfriends. And he's going to have Little Nate, Charles Robinson, as his referee at every home game.
Yeah.
So I think the Falcons are going to win this division.
I think that CM Punk is going to make a deal with Austin Theory and, the Carolina Panthers, Austin Theory. And, at the end of the season, he's going to sit there and fill Bryce Young's, Bijan is going to be in Bryce Young's ear. You can do it. We're the same draft class. Take your time back. And that's just going to be enough to go ahead and beat Jack Dempsey, who I have being the second team on this roster. I think that it's going to come down to Jack Dempsey. I know that y'all like Damian Priest, and it may even be Damian Priest. Now, I didn't even know about the Chase Young thing, so but I think that CM Punk pulls it off. I think he turns heel, just like you do. I think he comes back in the playoffs with that slick back hair, and then he brings back that heel pipe bomb promo, and then the Atlanta Falcons are going to go ahead 50-yard line, cut a heel promo, and they're going to sit there and say how they should have been the top dogs this whole time, but these Tampa Bay Buccaneers and New Orleans Saints have went down, and they're here to save the NFC South. That's what I think that they're going to do. That's how I think it's going to be booked. So now we get to go in to your AFC South.
Sounds good.
So I have the Houston Texans, and the Houston Texans are an up-and-coming team. You know what I'm saying? They're popular, man. Right now, they're on the roll, and they have that intensity. So I gave the Houston Texans a 13-4 record. I gave them Braun Breaker because that's the one that everybody's wants to see. Everybody wants to see that. Now, who I have finishing second in this division, and was because they looked pretty sharp last year, and that's the Indianapolis Colts. I have them at 12-5, and I gave them Solo Sikoa because I kind of want to see this matchup now. Solo and Braun, man, that's going to be pretty good. So the third place team I have, and definitely better than anything that A&W Wrestling's going to give me this year, is the Tennessee Titans. I've got them at 9-8. They're working their way up. They'll probably get in a wide receiver. This draft is going to be really good for the Titans. They're going to start building their team up, and they're going to start competing in the division here pretty soon. This is going to be the tightest division. This is going to be the new NFC East from a couple of years ago. So I decided to give the Tennessee Titans Kevin Owens. I thought that would be pretty good. And then I've got the 6-11 Jacksonville Jaguars, and I gave them a guy that I think is trying to get over, but he just is, to me, he's cringe, and that's Jey Uso. So with his yeet, 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 sorry, I can't do it. I don't understand it. But I know that Tony Khan annoys the fuck out of me, and this yeet, whatever the fuck it is, annoys the hell out of me. So we'll go ahead and start off with Big Kev this time. How are you booking your own division, the AFC South?
Well, now that you put Braun Breaker on there with Houston and them getting D'Amico Autry and Al Shar from Tennessee, you're going to have to put Braun Breaker in that middle linebacker position. And that man can run the ropes at 25 miles an hour. So you're looking at a beast of a man coming in there. The moves that Houston has made, and with the cap space they still got. I know that I'm a Titans fan, ladies and gentlemen, but I got to face facts. Houston's going to win this division, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Solo Sikoa, probably as an offensive lineman, he's going to be protecting Quentin Richardson. We all know that he got injured last year. We'll see what the Colts do there. I think the Titans will actually sneak in there and get the second place, and the reason why I say that, with the newly signed Calvin Ridley and D-Hop as two receivers, and with Kevin Owens in there, Kevin Owens is going to be playing mind games. He likes to play rough. He likes to play tough. And I think Jacksonville, I feel bad for them because I think what's going to happen is that Trevor Lawrence is going to get hurt, so they're going to have to put Mac Jones in. And what's going to have to happen is that Jey Uso is going to come in there and start trying to do the yeet chants to the crowd in Jacksonville. And he's going to get hammered by Solo Sikoa. He's going to get spiked, then he's going to get speared by Braun Breaker. But I think that this is going to be a nail. It's going to be a nail biter, but I think that Houston will win this division.
So you think that all three teams are going to do the concerto to Jey Uso in this division? Is that?
Yep, absolutely. Yep. I think Jacksonville will be at the very bottom, and Jey Uso. I think that Indy and Tennessee are going to have a little fight for that second spot between Solo and Kevin Owens, but I think Tennessee will slightly edge them this year. I think the Colts had their opportunity to win the division last year and messed it up on a fourth down where their player dropped. I think Moses dropped that catch or something like that. That should have gotten them the first down and should have extended that drive. But I got Kevin Owens in the Tennessee finish off seconds. I got Braun Breaker in the Texans finish off first, especially with the amazing offseason they just had and the additions they just brought in. So I'm going to go with the Houston Texans to win that division.
So for me, you see, I don't want to sneeze a little bit, but I don't know if I need to sneeze or not. So for me, the reason why I got Indianapolis in that second place is because Tennessee did take a hit on that defense, and I'm a defensive guy and I'm a running the ball guy. I want to see what Tennessee is going to be able to do after post Derrick Henry. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of running backs in this draft, and I'm pretty sure Tennessee is going to get one of them. But until that happens, I don't feel comfortable going with Tennessee at number 2 myself. Even though you do bring in Calvin Ridley to go across from D-Hop, the passing game will be better. It'll be better. And they are building. I think that there's a lot of potential in Tennessee. And if they stick with the Tennessee formula, you have nothing to worry about. Because Tennessee is going to be back competing and running because they kind of got the formula of how to win and go deep into the playoffs. So Indianapolis Colts, we know that they were the second place team. I think that with Anthony Richardson coming back, they're going to have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. They feel like they beat Texas once at the beginning of the season. They feel like they probably could do that again. And I think that, but I just don't think that it's kind of like with the Cody Rhodes and your Jey Usos. I think towards the end of the season, they're going to start to cry in their promos a little bit more. And I think that ultimately what's going to happen is that Braun Breaker is just going to come out and do fucking old school Scott Steiner math on their ass. And he's going to sit there and say, oh, well, let me tell you something. The Jacksonville Jaguars, no, they can't beat the Houston Texans, so they're not even going to try. Nice. So if you take their chances and give them to me, well, then that means I've got a 66 and a third. He's going to drop the Scott Steiner math. He's going to do that promo, confuse the rest of the division, and end up stealing this spot right here in WrestleMania. So we'll go on to the NFC West. Mm-hmm. And so I've got the San Francisco 49ers finishing off 13-4. And I couldn't think of anybody better to put with the San Francisco 49ers than the 2-time WrestleMania runner-up loser, Cody Rhodes. And so, we've got the LA Rams, which the LA Rams are always a difficult team. They lose Sam Darnold. I have them finishing behind San Francisco. And to me, they're probably one of the more legitimate teams. Like, if you gave me a choice to see who was going to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, if you were to sit there and say, hey, out of everybody on the roster, who do you want to see Roman Reigns face at WrestleMania? Active roster, not counting The Rock, his cousin that everybody wants to see, I would have chose Bobby Lashley. Ooh. So I've got the Bobby Lashley as the LA Rams. They'll finish with 11-6 record. They'll be second place. Whoa. Then we have the 9-8 Seattle Seahawks, which I don't know what the fuck Seattle's doing. So, I reached out and I said, man, who's somebody that he's here, but I don't never know what he's doing, and that's Finn Balor. I don't never know what Finn's doing. But and then the Arizona Cardinals, since I don't really know this guy and I don't know anything about Arizona right now, I got Ludwig Kaiser as the Arizona Cardinals.
Okay.
So we'll start with you, Steven.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen in this, rich NFC West?
I think San Francisco's still going to be the top notch. Cody Rhodes is still going to get that push, and I think the Niners are still good enough to win that division. So I'm going to go with San Fran, of course, and of course you're going to have Finn Balor in Seattle. They're going to give a little bit of a chase, but I think Finn Balor's going to have to go and talk to your boy Geno Smith, who's sooner or later, this candle's probably going to burn out, and you never know with Finn Balor what's going to happen with him. Now, I do like the Bobby Lashley St. Louis. I think they'll be kind of a thorn in the side or whatever of especially, that they got, what's his name, or they have Matthew Stafford, right? They still have him. And so, of course, he's still going to kind of be a thorn on the side, kind of be a contender, kind of be around 500. But I just think that St. Louis is on the, they're probably hovering around that wild card sort of ordeal. They'll hang in there with Bobby Lashley. We'll hang in there with Cody Rhodes. And then, of course, Arizona Kaiser, they got Desmond Ritter, but what does that really matter anyway? Desmond Ritter and Kaiser, they're going to be at the bottom of this division. It's just no question about it. So Arizona will be dead last. I think Seattle will take a back seat to the third to last, and then St. Louis will be second, or LA Rams will be second, and 49ers will be the number one in that division. So.
No heel tactics, huh? You don't think that them Rams are gonna pull a dirty heel tactic in the draft and try to get Byron Byron from Texas, what's his name? The defensive tackle to replace Sam Darnold.
If they add him, that would be a great addition. But like I said, I still think that San Fran's Cody Rhodes is going to be the team in that division.
Well, he is a Triple H guy. He's a Triple H guy, so Triple H is going to make sure Cody Rhodes gets his push.
Yep.
We've got to screw over the Rock. We got to screw over the Rock. So what about you? What about you, Big Kev? What do you have going on with the NFC West?
I have Seattle dead last.
Whoa!
I'm gonna make the prediction that Arizona will be number 3 because Kyler Murray is going to be healthy, and if Arizona does draft Marvin Harrison Jr., which will be a big asset to Arizona. That's if they do, and if he's around by the time they draft, because there's a lot of trades that could happen. I think that the Rams are going to do really well with Bobby Lashley at the helm, but I do got San Francisco going, and I have San Francisco being the faces. Cody Rhodes is going to the San Francisco. He's going to all those LBGT little communities and trying to get them to become the crybabies and get behind everything. He's going to get upset because when he gets to the championship again, Taylor Swift's going to write a song about him. And she's going to collaborate with The Rock, and they're going to make a song about him like The Rock did in Memphis. But I think San Francisco will definitely win this division, and then the Rams, and then the Cardinals.
Okay, here's what I think happens. So, I have Finn Balor and Ludwig. They're fighting for who's going to be last place. They're actually probably in a tank bowl. You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, we want to go ahead and get the first pick. And Arizona's like, bullshit, we're going to get the first pick. And they're going to end up trying to see who could lose. That's what's going to end up happening. And I think what's going to end up happening is Bobby Lashley's going to come out there in all his Bobby Lashley might. And he says, if you want somebody to go ahead and stop the bloodline, we need Bobby Lashley in there. And he needs to be the guy out there saying, oh, look, it's all these Cody crybabies, these little cheerleaders, going back to his little cheerleaders promos that he used to do in TNA where he's making fun of everybody and trying to take all the belts and stuff like that. Then he comes face to face with Cody Rhodes. And then he spears Cody Rhodes, and it looks like he's about to beat him. And all of a sudden, Cody Rhodes gets up, And he says, I just wanted to do this for my dad, and I wanted to hand the Super Bowl trophy to my mom. And then fucking Bobby Lashley doesn't know what to do because now he feels bad. And then all of a sudden Cody comes up, and then he low blows him, hits him with a fucking crossroads, and all of a sudden Cody Rhodes is back at WrestleMania for a third year in a row, trying to go ahead. Third time's a charm, right? He's going to go and face the Tribal Chief, and then he's going to finish his story at the Super Bowl next year. But we haven't even got to the playoffs. This is just getting out of the conference.
Oh yeah,
But that's what's going through Cody Rhodes' mind.
Well, the reason why that idea works against Bobby Lashley, because Bobby Lashley is a parent himself, so he's going to feel bad automatically. And, you know, he's worked with Dusty Rhodes in WWE before, so he's going to have respect for Dusty. Cody's going to use that little crybabiness just enough to screw over Bobby Lashley, the Almighty. The
Man.
Almighty. And I think Cody definitely will be in the WrestleMania main event again.
Damn, so we all agree on all the division winners so far.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got and we had to do a Russo swerve. We have to with the AFC West. The NFL is long due for a Russo swerve. So actually, I have the LA Chargers finishing at the top of this division this year. That doesn't mean that they're going to do anything with it. They never do. You know what I'm saying? But they're going to finish off at the top. The Chargers are one of those teams I think that are kind of appealing, especially whenever their quarterback is healthy. They're kind of a fun team to watch. So I'll put Randy Orton with the Los Angeles Chargers.
Okay.
So we got the Kansas City Chiefs coming in second. I think that they're going to make a wild card spot. And, of course, you know, you're only going to be able to put Roman Reigns with the Kansas City Chiefs. So the bloodline right over there, they're sneaking in because that's what Roman Reigns is doing. He wants everybody to think he's weak so he can come out and attack in the playoffs like he did this year. So the Las Vegas, I've got the Las Vegas Raiders are and coming in third. And for the Las Vegas Raiders, I think that everybody really kind of wouldn't mind seeing the Vegas Raiders, well, the Raiders in general, you know what I'm saying? Coming back, returning to that glory that they used to. They used to be a great team to watch. It's like a team that you didn't really like and you didn't want your team to face, but you always, whenever you saw them play somebody else, you would kind of go for the Raiders. And so I figured, you know, who do I put with the Raiders? And I figured L.A. Knight.
Oh,
Yeah.
This is a fun division here. And then the Denver Broncos, right? Well, every tribal chief needs his advisor, right? So for the Denver Broncos, since the Denver Broncos will even admit that their year is already a wash and they haven't even made it to the draft yet, I decided to put them as Paul Heyman. So we'll start with Steven Rose this time.
Denver, you got Paul Heyman?
Paul Heyman is the Denver Broncos.
Okay.
He's going to advocate for the tribal chief. He's going to come out there and put the tribal chief over. That's what Paul Heyman does.
Wow. Okay, and so you got the Chargers winning, right?
The Chargers winning the division, Randy Orton.
Okay, well, I mean, you know, with all due respect, I know you hear voices in your head, but I don't hear those same voices. And I think the NFL loves the face of the product right now. And the face is the tribal chief, Roman Reigns, whose winning streak is on the line. And the Kansas City Chiefs are now entering 700 plus days as the champion for Patrick Mahomes and the bloodline to break Hogan's record and be the first team to three-peat as champion. And therefore, I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs to win. They're going to put Randy Orton out at second. And, of course, LA Knight is just not going to be enough to get the Raiders over with lacking at the quarterback position. And the Raiders are still kind of behind. Denver's definitely going to be last, but Paul Heyman Sean Payton is, going to struggle at, having to draft a quarterback into the draft and do all that. And until they figure that part out, they're going to have some serious problems, So I'm going to go with Kansas City and the tribal chief Roman Reigns to repeat.
I'll go ahead and let Kev tell you, then I'll go ahead and tell you what I think is going to happen.
Okay.
Well, Paul Heyman's already did what he was supposed to do. He advocated for them to get rid of Russell Wilson. So he's already done his job for his tribal chief. So Denver will be last place. I see the Raiders. The Raiders' defense is good, and Max Crosby is one defensive player that scares the living shit out of me. If I was ever playing quarterback again, I would probably duck and hide if I saw Max Crosby coming at me. LA Knight's going to lead that team, but they're still building. I think Kansas City will win this division, and the reason why is Randy Orton will spear Patrick Mahomes. He'll RKO all the Kansas City Chief members, and then when he's about to RKO Taylor Swift, Roman Reigns is going to come out of nowhere, hit the Superman punch, and spear Randy Orton. 1, 2, 3. Kansas City will win this division thanks to the assist of Taylor Swift.
Well, here's what I think is going to happen. I think what's going to end up happening is that Randy Orton will get a win over the tribal chief, but it's going to be a disqualification. There's going to be some bullshittery into it, right? So that way, whenever we get to WrestleMania, he's already up on the tribal chief. You know what I'm saying? And everybody, every year, that betting line, right? Vegas sees that betting line, and they're like, oh, well, the tribal, and it's going to be the same thing. You can't tell these people anything that it's all kayfabe. They don't believe me whenever I tell them that. They'll still place hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And what they're going to sit there and say is, well, the tribal chief, he looks kind of weak. This is his time. He's about to lose it. That mantle is about to be, and then what happens whenever you get to WrestleMania? That's when the tribal chief shows up. He doesn't show up, during the regular, shows. Remember? He holds back. He doesn't show up at the regular shows. That's not his thing. He waits and does all his work that one day a year. And this is going to be kind of like what's going to end up happening. Randy Orton is going to go in, and he's thinking, well, you know what? I've got my place, but tribal chief is going to end up backing right up in there in that wild card spot. And everybody's going to sit there and say, well, there's no more of this. The tribal chief is over. And all of a sudden, that's when the tribal chief comes up. And at the end of the show, this is always what we're doing right here. Right? So, we'll go with my division, and that is the NFC East. So, this team and his fans, I mean, none personal, Andrew Thomas, but the fucking fans for Philadelphia, they irritate me so much. I mean, it's like they win the Super Bowl every year. And even if they don't win the Super Bowl, it's like, well, as long as Dallas gets beat, we don't give a shit how our team does. They'll be celebrating our loss over their victories and shit. So I said, who in the hell in the WWE irritates me other than Cody Rhodes as much as the Philadelphia Eagles fans? It's impossible. And then it came to me. Logan Paul. So, Philadelphia Eagles are Logan Paul. I got the Washington Redskins. The Washington Redskins is going to be a pretty interesting team. It's like one of those things to where the NFC East, it always flips and it always changes. And don't know exactly where they're going to go. We know that they're probably going to get a quarterback. We know that their offense is probably going to look a lot better if they do get a quarterback, which will make the defense better. And I think that Washington was always that team that had the capability if they only had the right leader. And I think that they'll probably get it this year. So I got them as Baron Corbin.
Baron Corbin is the Giants?
Yeah.
No, Redskin.
No, Redskins.
So
Yeah.
the New York Giants. The New York Giants are one of those teams. They're kind of stingy. They're always there. They annoy me because they're in my division, but it's like one of those things to where you could see the talent is there, and the potential is there. But everybody in the NFC East is a gauntlet. You know what I'm saying? It never stays the same. These teams are always flipping and trading spots. Just a couple of years ago, the New York Giants were in the playoffs, and now, last year, they in the top, picking. So I decided to go ahead and put Jimmy Uso
Ooh.
as the New York Giants. And then, of course, we got the Dallas Cowboys, which there was no other, and I didn't want to put him. I didn't want to put him with the Cowboys.
It has to be who I know it's going to be.
It has to be The Rock because everybody fucking watches the NFL. The people that watch the NFL, it doesn't matter their team. They'll follow their team, but they're sure to sit there and want to see what the Cowboys are doing. They really just waiting for the Cowboys to lose, and that's why I had to put them with The Rock. I didn't want to because I don't necessarily have us doing that well this year, but yeah, the Cowboys are The Rock. So I'll go ahead and throw this one to Big Kev. You can go ahead and start with the booking on the NFC East.
Well, the Giants did lose Barkley. The Giants are not really sold on Daniel Jones. Depends on what they get in the draft that they're going to go for a quarterback to. The Giants are my last place team. I think Washington will be third, but I think they'll give Philadelphia a run for their money. I think Baron Corbin is going to fit in nicely with Dan Quinn's system. Philadelphia will be a wild card team. I think Logan Paul will get them to be drinking his little prime energy. He'll be all over the Eagles field, all over Lincoln Financial. The question remains if Saquon Barkley can stay healthy. He's only stayed healthy for one season. And the Giants went to the playoffs. It all depends on that. But I think people are figuring out Jalen Hurts now. And the Dallas Cowboys, everybody, and the reason why it fits perfectly, because people call The Rock the American sweetheart. He's the guy that everybody likes in the movies, and even though his movies may be shitty, you still like him. And there's a lot of people that like him. Dallas is known as the American team. But right now, people love to hate the Cowboys, and right now, people love to hate The Rock. And The Rock is cooking it, and The Rock is killing it. I think Dallas wins that division with The Rock.
So are you saying that Dak Prescott needs to do a heel turn?
I think Dak Prescott is going to learn from the Great One on how to maintain a crowd and how to go into the big games in the playoffs and grasp that opportunity, because The Rock's going to tell him, look, you know what? I went to 2 WrestleManias and lost to Stone Cold, and I finally beat him. You can do it too. And I think Dak Prescott will get them to finally get a playoff win for Dallas.
What about you, Steven?
Well, I put it to you like this. Washington did make some new additions, but it's not going to be enough. So Baron Corbin is going to lead the Washington Commanders to the bottom of the barrel, along with his buddy Jimmy Uso and the Giants and Daniel Jones. Again, and that's going to be an issue right there at the quarterback position. They also lost Saquon Barkley. They don't have a running back. So that's also going to be another issue with the Giants. The Giants are in a, they're not – Giants and Washington are going to be at the bottom, Jimmy Uso and Baron Corbin. It's going to come down to Logan and The Rock. Logan, he's going to give some highlights. The Eagles are going to, give him their all, with the tush push and everything. But at the end of the day, it's going to be – The Rock and the Dallas Cowboys. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
You kind of stop there for a while.
I played The Rock's music. That's why.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if y'all heard it, but
okay. So y'all are higher on The Rock than I am. I understand that The Rock has some age. You know what I'm saying? He's definitely going to have some ring rust whenever he steps between them ropes. He's going to have some ring rust. And this is the issue that I have right now, is that it doesn't look like the Vince McMahon of the or the of the Dallas Cowboys, the Jerry Jones has did anything to help The Rock. And just like Kev said, people are going to start to figure out Jalen Hurts. People have already figured out Dak Prescott. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't look like they've changed anything. I don't know what they're going to do with the run, and until we get anything good outside of just Dak going for 4,400 yards, we're not going to do that good. We're just not. This draft is set up perfectly for the Giants. You know what I'm saying? What do they need help at? Wide receiver. It's very deep in wide receiver. And running back, you're going to be able to get a pretty decent running back out of this draft. They're sleeping on the running backs. You got Jonathan Brooks. You got Jalen Wright. You've got Audric Estime. You've got Trey Benson. You've got Braylon Allen. The running back is so deep in this draft, actually, and they're just so slept on that you're going to be able to get a good running back to replace Saquon. And maybe one that isn't going to be hurt. So it's not like they've really been playing with Saquon the past few years because he hasn't really been that much on the field. So, I do think that the New York Giants do improve. I think that Washington, like I said, it's going to be interesting. If they get Jaden Daniels, that's a good possibility that offense could really transform into being a pretty high-tempo offense because Jaden Daniels is a pretty good – he's not as big, but I see a lot of C.J. Stroud and Jaden Daniels. So that's why I like him a lot. They're going to get a good quarterback in this draft because I think Caleb Williams is the Bryce Young of this year. But I think when Chicago gets him, I think that, the other two quarterbacks after him are going to either be good or, I actually like J.J. McCarthy and I like that Bo Nix guy probably a little bit better than I actually like Drake May. But, it is what it is. They're all going to be pretty decent quarterbacks. There'll be an upgrade over what Washington has right now. And so I have Logan Paul pissing me off again and winning this division again because they do add Saquon. That defense should have a little bit more experience. Hopefully they get better. If not, then Philadelphia, it's over. It's over. If you have another collapse this season, then you've reached the peak of your football team. But I don't think it's like the Cowboys. I think that they've reached their peak outside of like Micah Parsons. The defense is legitimate. I just think offensively they've hit their peak. I think that they've been past their prime. And I think that's what kills us. And I think that's what hurts the defense this year. So I don't think that there's enough heel tactics. I don't think that there's enough heel tactics to go ahead and get The Rock and Roman that win. Night one of WrestleMania against Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. But I do think that still the tribal chief comes out to be – I don't think that the tribal chief is in danger. So, it's okay. The Rock, I understand it. You're a little bit, people have you figured out right now. You know what I'm saying? You can go on the mic. You know what I'm saying? You can talk a big game. You can pull in an audience. This is what we need. However, this year I just don't feel like it's The Rock's year this year. I love The Rock, love the Cowboys, but it's just not. You could just feel it that the coaching is just like, okay, well, we're not going to do anything with the offense. Might as well as tank and set up for the following year and get Shadir Sanders. If you have no other options, if you're not going to change anything, you just might as well.
Well, I gotta say
you
this.
Got Washington winning.
No, he's got
Philadelphia.
Oh, okay.
Logan Paul.
Well, I gotta say this about The Rock here. In 2011, when he stepped into the ring at Survivor Series as his partner, people thought he was going to be rusty, but he was training. The Rock's been training in the wrestling ring the last couple months. He's got one built in California and one in Florida. So The Rock's going to surprise a lot of people at WrestleMania. I think what's going to happen is that Logan Paul's going to use those brass knucks. He's going to find a way to get in there too. But what's going to happen is The Rock's going to get mad. He's going to rock bottom Jerry Jones. He's going to rock bottom Dak Prescott and Mike McCarthy. He's going to buy the Dallas Cowboys away from Jerry Jones. And he's going to be like, Mike McCarthy's fired. Dak Prescott's out of here.
That would be a dream come true. But so we got the AFC East. So we've got that Obafemi kid that's NXT champion of some sort. I don't know who he is, but that's exactly what the Jets are. I don't know who you are. You got rid of, but I do have the Jets coming in. I think that this is going to be another one of those Russo swears that Roger Goodell in the fucking creative is going to throw to us. With Aaron Rodgers coming in, how will he work? Since I'm not really sold, I gave him the NXT champion. I don't believe that you're going to get to the Super Bowl, Aaron, but I will pull for you to make the playoffs and to do that for the Jets. And then you have Miami. And what's Miami best known for? Selling to the tribal chief, right? So I gave Seth Rollins Miami. Miami is Seth Rollins. You got Buffalo, which Buffalo is a stout team. They're a champion. They're a championship caliber team that just really hasn't done a whole lot. So I went ahead and gave them Gunther as the Buffalo Bills. And then, of course, the Patriots, just like you said, Big Kev. You better not. You better not. You better sell to John Cena. So I gave the six-time Super Bowl champion New England Patriots.
Yep. Yes.
The John Cena. So
to the 16th-time world champion.
I'll start with Big Kev. Go ahead and start booking for the AFC.
Who's Buffalo? Who's Buffalo again? The wrestler?
Gunther, the Intercontinental champion.
In Miami.
Seth Rollins.
Okay, cool. Okay, I got the other two. Okay, go ahead.
So I think the Jets are going to surprise a lot of people. I think Aaron Rodgers will get them slightly into the playoffs, not as a division, but maybe a wild card. Miami has taken a hit, losing Wilkins and losing a couple of people. Seth Rollins coming into Miami, he's probably going to be wearing his wife's clothing, and we don't know whether or not he's going to be a football player or a cross-dresser, whichever one comes first. I actually think John Cena is going to be a good leader to New England, but New England also, bless you, it also depends on New England gets a quarterback or what they're going to do in the draft now that they traded Jones. Buffalo, I think, will still win this division because I think Buffalo is more seasoned than the other teams. And I think that Gunther, with the chops that he makes, he's going to have to chop Josh Allen into not choking every time they're in the AFC Championship or divisional round. I think the Bills with Gunther will make the playoffs and will win this division.
Mm-hmm. So I just want to go ahead and note something right now for the people watching, all four of you, that I've sneezed 3 times. I sneezed twice during the Cody NFC West. Yeah, I sneezed once against. So it must mean that I'm kind of allergic to bad promos, I think. So. But, Steven, what do you think?
All right. Well, I think looking at all 4 of these wrestlers, John Cena and the Patriots are in complete rebuild. They get rid of Sam. What's his name?
Mac Jones.
Mac Jones. Sorry.
Yeah.
Let's say Sam Bradford. Mac Jones. They get rid of Mac Jones. They got rid of Bill Belichick. So that's not the Lord. It's just like John Cena is an old man. Like, who's he going to put over before the end of his career? That's sort of how I look at the Patriots. Go ahead and give me John Cena and the Patriots to finish dead last. Now you're going to have, Seth Rollins in Miami. They're a very good highlighted team at the very end, beginning of the season. They'll start off really well, and towards the end they'll kind of choke, kind of like they did last year and last season.
when they should have won the division, to be honest with you. Can't, down a team like Buffalo and Gunther as well. They're going to be in a fight for it. And then, of course, you're going to have Aaron Rodgers and Dragunov and the Jets, and they're going to be an up and surprising team. Can Aaron Rodgers stay healthy and team up with Dragunov as as Aaron Rodgers pulls those CM Punk mic drop moments, pipe bombs? He's been doing really good in that, even though the media has been trying to portray him as an asshole. He kind of comes off as a pretty cool guy. So you're going to have a three-headed monster fighting for this division. I'm going to say that Seth Rollins takes a back seat to Aaron Rodgers and Dragunov as they slightly get above of Miami. Miami will finish third. The Jets will finish over them. You're going to have Buffalo and the Jets essentially fighting for this. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to go ahead and ride. I like Gunther. I like the Buffalo Bills, but I'm going to go ahead and pick the New York Jets to barely overtake them, maybe by one game. It could be the division game, the Sunday night football game of Week 18 to determine that. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick the Jets to win.
You think Aaron Rodgers drops one pipe bomb promo and confuses the league?
No, I think it's over. I think the Jets go somewhere around the 10, 11 win mark, somewhere around there. And I think the Bills may even finish slightly below them, one game behind.
Okay, so let's go ahead and figure out who's going to win the Super Bowl this year. All right, with some dirty shit hill tactics. So, who do we got here? We all like AJ Styles, right? And the Green Bay Packers. So they're in, right? They made it into the Rumble. Okay. We got did we like Pat McAfee?
All the divisions
Detroit
were
Lions?
the same except for three. We all liked for Pat McAfee for the North.
For a wild card.
Yes,
Detroit, yeah.
I think so.
Wait. Wait, did we all vote Pat McAfee or AJ Styles for the NFC?
AJ Styles. Oh,
AJ Styles already won the AFC North. Yeah, he's already in.
Card. Oh, you mean one of the wild card teams?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So the NFC North. I'm pretty sure that we all agree that Drew McIntyre, Baltimore Ravens, are going to be in it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes.
We all three unanimously picked him.
And what about the Brock Lesnar Pittsburgh Steelers?
We all picked the Ravens. We all had the Ravens. We had
but as a wild card. Wild card.
I think the Steelers. I think the Steelers squeak in the
Drew
wild
McIntyre.
card. I think the Steelers.
Drew McIntyre is Baltimore.
Yeah. We have Brock Lesnar and Pittsburgh as one of the wild card teams.
Okay,
yeah,
so
Steelers will get in there.
Okay, so we have the Atlanta Falcons and CM Punk. Or did y'all have somebody else? I think that we
all picked CM Punk in Atlanta.
CM Punk, right? And well, of course, we all picked Braun Breaker and the Houston Texans.
Yep.
Are we feeling? We're both. Are y'all feeling Kevin Owens and the Tennessee Titans being that number 2? Do we want to put them in as a wild card?
I'm gonna say.
Or do we go solo?
I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
I think the Colts will be the wild card.
No. Okay. So you got Solo Sikoa. Okay. Well, that's good because we kind of want to see that. We can't get enough of the Braun Breaker Solo Sikoa matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we're all guaranteed to Cody Rhodes is going to continue the story with San Francisco 49ers, right?
Yeah.
Do we think that Bobby Lashley Rams are going to make it in the wild card?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we all know that Roman Reigns is going to get in. Yes. I have him as a wild card. I think that Roger Goodell is trying to set up the booking, trying to set up the betting lines, where everybody's going to go ahead.
So, then that means we got the Chargers in by default. Then you got to put Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers in and Randy Orton. So
I think okay, yeah, that'll work. And because you need somebody that they can get over to make it seem like, oh, okay,
Because see, the thing is in the AFC East, I think me and Prodigal both picked the Jets to win, and then you got Buffalo and Gunther, for Kev. I think Buffalo's got to be one of those teams as well that gets in.
Okay, so we got Buffalo.
Yeah,
and then we got
Buffalo. I think Buffalo should get in over Indianapolis solo. In fact, I think maybe one team out of the AFC South gets in. I think Buffalo and the Jets should get in.
I think the AFC we picked Steelers, Jets, and Buffalo. I think we picked the Chargers, the Bills, and the
Steelers.
Because of 3 wild cards.
Yeah, Chargers, Bills, and Steelers. No, but then that means that means Chiefs won't get in then. So now we're gonna have to take Pittsburgh out. We're gonna have to put the Chiefs and Chargers in. Because we all picked Baltimore to win the division by default. The ones that we voted different on was the AFC East and West. So we got to put the Chargers in. We got to put the Jets and Buffalo in. So that leaves one more spot left open for a wild card, and we can either we can put Pittsburgh in actually. No, we could put Pittsburgh in. Yeah, we can put Pittsburgh in. Yeah, because they'll be the third wild card team. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
We got it right.
Okay, so we got and then I'll go. You're keeping this down, right? You're writing it down.
Yeah.
So,
Chargers, Chiefs, Texans, Ravens, Bills, Jets. Those are our teams.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Bills, Jets, Ravens, Steelers, Texans, Chiefs, Chargers. Those are our 7 teams.
Okay, so then you got the Philadelphia, right?
Yeah.
Logan Paul's, and are we going to put the Cowboy Rocks in with what y'all want? Okay, so we'll put the Rock in. Of course, I don't think that they'll make it, but we'll go ahead and put it in. For this purposes of we're submitting this, what's going to end up happening, people, is I'm going to send this to Roger Goodell just to get approved for the booking because we're working hard for you to have it.
Okay, because see what it is here. Look, I can figure this out. We all unanimously voted for the same for 3 of the 4 divisions, right? So you're going to have your Green Bay and AJ Styles, right? You're going to have your Atlanta and CM Punk. You're going to have your San Francisco and Cody Rhodes. Now, we did both pick Eagles and Cowboys. So that means by default, you got to have Dallas and Philly in based on the votes. Yeah. So that leaves 2 spots left open.
Okay. Now, so we're going to go with the Rams for one of those and Bobby Lashley.
Bobby Lashley, yep.
Yeah, Bobby Lashley will agree with that. So let's put LA Rams. That means there's now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 1 spot left.
Pat McAfee and the Detroit Lions.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm trying to look at Paris. What do you think of Damian Priest in New Orleans? Or you don't think they'll get the edge on Detroit? Or do you think Detroit will probably get them? Yeah, Detroit, because they did go to the NFC Championship. So
yeah, Detroit.
Okay,
yeah.
All right, then we agree with our 7 now.
Okay, yeah. Okay. So how Stephen Rose, go ahead and set them up into games for us, right? Through the playoffs, since you wrote them down. And then we'll see who's the dirtiest heel.
Okay, so we'll do this. For the AFC, every team's got at least 1 representative except for the AFC South, right? So that means if let's just go by, if you go by majority rules, your division winners are let's just say so out of AFC, who do we got as our number 1? Bills, Jets, Ravens, Steelers, Texans, Chiefs, Chargers. Who do we have as the number 1 best team?
I got Drew McIntyre, Baltimore myself, I think.
Yep.
I'm going to go with Baltimore as well. Now we got to go with who's number 2.
Okay.
You got Bills, Jets, Ravens. Well, Steelers can't be number 2 because they're in the same division. So it's either got to be Bills, Jets, Texans, Chiefs, Chargers.
We'll put y'all like the Chargers, so we'll put the Chargers, but we'll just give them a shitty record.
Okay, yeah, let's give them number 2. All right, so then at number 3, it can't be the Chiefs or the Steelers because they're the other 2 divisions got 1 and 2. So it's either Steelers, Houston, Jets, or Bills. No, it's either Houston, Jets, or Bills at 3.
Houston.
All right, I agree with that. And then, of course, who do you got out of 4 out of Bills and Jets?
Jets.
Yeah.
Jets. Okay, so now
This makes it easier. So 5, 6, and 7. We got Bills, Steelers, and Chiefs. Who's at 5, 6, and who's got 5? Chiefs, Steelers, or Bills?
Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Wait a minute. No, the Chiefs are. We've already put the Chiefs. The Chiefs were number 2.
No. I thought number 2 was the Chargers.
No,
Chargers.
you said that we were going to go with the Chiefs because y'all like the
No.
Chiefs.
Oh,
Okay.
Majority rule. Remember?
Okay. Well, then the Chargers. Then okay. So then we got Chargers,
So the
Steelers,
Chargers.
and Bills. Okay, you got Chargers at
Chargers.
5. Okay,
Yeah.
then number 6 is Steelers or Bills. Who's 6? Steelers or Bills?
Bills.
All
Bills.
right. Yeah. And then 7 is Pittsburgh. Okay.
right.
Right.
So we got a Kansas City, Pittsburgh at 2 and 7. That's going to put Roman versus
Brock.
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 Oh.
Oh, this is going to be a
Number
good
3
match.
is Houston, and that's Braun.
Mhm.
Braun
And
Breaker.
then they're taking on number 6, which is the Buffalo Bills.
Gunther.
Gunther.
Ooh. Woo.
All right. Next is
That's a big one.
4, which is the New York Jets. That's going to be that
Femi or whatever his name is. The
Dragon Ball
NXT
or
guy.
whatever. Yeah, the
Yeah,
NXT
NXT
champion. And he's taking on number 5, the LA Chargers, who is
Randy Orton.
Randy Orton. Whoa. All right, then. So now we got to do the NFC.
Okay.
All right. So we got our 7 teams. We figure out who number 1 is. You got Green Bay, Atlanta, San Fran, Dallas, Philly, Rams, and Detroit.
Cody Rhodes
San
in San Francisco.
San
Whoa.
Francisco, yeah.
Do you think number 1 is San Fran? Cody
Cody
Rhodes.
Rhodes getting that push still. He's got to
All
finish
right.
his story.
All right. So number 2, since the Rams cannot be qualified, you got Lions, Eagles, Cowboys, Falcons, Packers for number 2. Packers, Falcons, Cowboys, Eagles, Lions.
Eagles. Maybe.
Okay, so y'all
Or
want
Falcons.
the Eagles. What about you? It's majority
I'm gonna-
rules because I know y'all both like the
I'm going
Cowboys.
to go with
but
Dallas. I'm going to go with Dallas and The Rock.
Are you going to go with Dallas?
Who you got?
It's okay if y'all want to go with Dallas. But The Rock, okay. We'll go with that.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's just do that. That's fine.
All right, The Rock. And then okay, so number
Eagles
3
can't be in
is okay, then we got Dallas. That means Eagles cannot qualify for 3. So it's either Packers, Falcons, or Lions.
Give me
Packers.
AJ Styles. Packers.
Okay. All right, I agree with that too. So we'll go with AJ. Okay, and so number 4 is going to be whoever won the let's see, East, West, North, the South.
Atlanta.
So the South division is Atlanta because Atlanta's the only
Atlanta.
representative we got from there. So Atlanta
CM
has
Punk.
the 4. CM Punk.
CM Punk.
All right, now here's number 5 and 6 and 7. So 5, 6, and 7. Here are our choices. We got the Eagles,
Eagles.
the Rams, the Lions. No. Yeah, the Eagles, the Rams. Wait. Wait, no, yeah, Eagles, Rams, and Lions. Who's number 5?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Eagles,
Eagles.
Rams.
Okay, so
Eagles?
Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Logan Paul. Yeah.
All right, so Rams and Lions for 6.
This one's close.
I'm gonna say Lions.
Lions.
Okay, so
yeah.
we're going with Pat McAfee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pat McAfee.
And then Bobby
number
Lashley.
7 is
Bobby
The
Lashley.
Rams.
okay, in the Rams. Okay, so our matchups here with Cody getting a first round bye, The Rock will be taking on Bobby Lashley at the Dallas Cowboys versus the Rams 2-7 matchup. Bobby Lashley versus The Rock. Number 3, we got Green Bay and AJ Styles taking on number 6, Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee and AJ Styles. And number 4, we got CM Punk taking on 5 Eagles and Logan Paul.
No.
Nice. This
All
is a
right.
better booking than WrestleMania.
I like this prediction thing we're doing right now. This shit's cool as shit.
So, okay. We'll go with go hit us up with the first one, Steven. Hit us up with the first match.
We're gonna go with Dallas? Or are we going to go? I mean, are we going to go with NFC or AFC?
Doesn't matter, whichever.
All right, let's go ahead and go with the first one. It's we'll start. We'll start with the NFC. We're gonna go with The Rock versus Seven in the Rams and Bobby Lashley.
Man, this is going to be a good matchup here. Bobby Lashley.
The Rock will be at home.
The Rock will be at home. Man, it just feels like Matthew Stafford and that LA Rams are more consistent. I can't pick the record for The Rock speaks for itself. You know what I'm saying? One and done in the playoff. It's all the time. If and like I said, this all depends on the draft, right? Yeah, I can kind of see. I'm not gonna do it. Last year, I picked The Rock to go to the Super Bowl, and we've seen what happened with Green Bay. I'm not doing the same mistake this year, so go ahead and give me Bobby Lashley to beat The Rock.
Oh,
I have to double stamp on that one because I don't trust Dallas in the playoffs right now.
What's up?
Until they actually win I don't trust Dallas in the playoffs.
Me neither.
All right,
and I think the Rams will squeak by this. And
all right,
that'll be a close knit game.
Okay. I got the Dallas Cowboys to win, but we'll go with majority rules. So the Rams will automatically advance since 2 votes casted their way. But I'm going to go with Dallas just for my one pick to post to them because I think Dak Prescott's going to get over. And I think the NFL is going to give them a push to get as the next top guy. And then the Chiefs are going to bury it. That's another video.
So, yeah, it's because we all want to see The Rock versus Roman. All right. Everybody wants to see The Rock versus Roman. But unfortunately, Roger Goodell, Triple H, is shit at booking. And so, Triple H is just going to put Cody Rhodes back in there. Until Cody Rhodes
then by default, then that means 7 and the Rams will advance to play 1 regardless of the next 2. So Cody Rhodes will be taking on Lashley in the next round, but we're going to get to that later because we still got to break the other 2 matchups. So we're going to have number 3 is AJ Styles and the Packers will be at home to face the Detroit Lions and Pat McAfee. So it's going to be a Green Bay-Detroit divisional game.
I'll let Kev start.
Unless Detroit gets more help on defense for Hutchinson, I don't see them beating Green Bay. I think Green Bay is going to win this one. I think AJ Styles advances into the next round.
I think that AJ Styles is going to hit him with that Pele kick, and then it's going to be 1, 2, 3, a clean victory over the Detroit Lions. Detroit, Dan Campbell, sorry, we had to do some heel tactics here. We had to get in AJ Styles because there's a match on this card that I think we all want to see. And sorry, Detroit, you're just not there yet. You're not in that main event caliber, Pat. I'm sorry, but I will watch your sports show. All right, you got a sports show you got to do. You got to get back to doing that sports show. So, yeah. What about you, Steven?
Words of Dan Campbell. What do you think you're doing? Well, Green Bay's going to figure out a way. Because Dan Campbell's the one that started that shit. He's like, "What do you think you're doing?" Every time they screw him. He should wear a shirt that says, "What do you think you're doing?"
You shouldn't even call them flags anymore. You should just call them Campbells. I'm going to throw a couple of Campbells. Campbell on the play.
Go just fuck with that.
What the fuck are you doing?
Go just throw a flag right in front of him just to fuck with him.
Yeah.
It's a Montreal screw job. This is what it is.
Dan Campbell, if they booked him right, he could be like Stone Cold Steve Austin if they booked him correctly,
Instead of
give me Green Bay.
Instead of a what chant, it goes, "What the fuck are you doing?"
All right, so here we go. Atlanta is next. We all pick Green Bay by the win, so they're advancing to the next round. And AJ Styles will be at home to either take on number 4
which is Atlanta and CM Punk versus the Eagles and Logan Paul.
Okay, I guess I'll take this one first. I think Kev is right whenever he says teams are gonna start to figure out Philadelphia, and Jalen Hurts mainly, and I think that they kind of already have. I think we've seen that last year with their collapse, and I think that Philadelphia is one of those teams who's going to get a lot of wins in the regular season from teams that should probably beat them, but everybody has got them figured out, so it just kind of depends. They're going to, these coaches are smart. It's chess, not checkers. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So I think that, Atlanta's in a pretty good position. They got a pretty solid running game. I know that Philadelphia added Saquon Barkley in, but like Kev said, Saquon Barkley can't stay healthy. And do you trust him? And Philadelphia has a history of injuring and ending running backs' careers. So I don't feel good about picking Philadelphia or Jalen Hurts whenever it comes into the playoffs, much like what they did against Tampa Bay. I think CM Punk takes Logan Paul, and he sits there and puts that anaconda vice on him, and Logan Paul's going to tap out in like the third quarter. And in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if, Jalen Hurts isn't pissing himself by about third quarter of the ass whooping that he'll be taking probably. So I'll go ahead and pass it over. What do you think, Steven? What do you think's going to happen?
I like this matchup very well. And the Eagles came in at 5 last year and lost to an upset to Tampa Bay on the road. And Tampa Bay kicked the living shit out of them too. They just beat them. They mollywopped them. And I think the Eagles are going to come in with a little bit more. I think they play well against Atlanta. So the matchup's really well. Both of these teams, I like their style and everything with Logan Paul, explosive and everything. And then you got CM Punk, with his veteran experience and magical pipe bombs and great promos and great matches and gets over with the fans and stuff. So you're going to be looking at an older man versus a younger guy, but I think in this case, you got to go with experience in Kirk Cousins. I think Cousins is going to bring a lot to the fire. I think that Atlanta is missing a quarterback. They still got tight ends like Kyle Pitts and, the receivers that they have. They got an awesome team over there in Atlanta. I think they were just missing a quarterback. And I think they need a veteran quarterback, so you're going to see a resurgence as the new Atlanta Vikings, like kind of what Cousins did with the Minnesota Vikings. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go with Atlanta to win.
Okay, Kev, what about you? How do you book it?
Well, like I said earlier, Atlanta's got their own home field referee in Charles Robinson. So that right there is an advantage. Number 2, remember how Atlanta used to be prime time, and when Punk comes out, he says it's clobbering time. Well, it's going to be clobbering time for the Philadelphia Eagles. And I think that Atlanta will win this game. I think Logan Paul will tap out early once Punk gets him in the anaconda vice. And then I think what's going to happen is that his brother Jake Paul is going to get involved. And what's going to happen is when Paul gets involved, Tyson's going to come up there and he's going to knock him out. And then you're going to see Tyson distract Logan Paul by eating up on Jake Paul's ear. And CM Punk's going to get to go to sleep, put him in the anaconda vice, taps out, Atlanta goes.
All right, so we all got Atlanta unanimous, and now we go to the AFC. And so we know that number 1 is Baltimore and Drew McIntyre. So we're going to go ahead and go through the matchups here. We're going to go ahead and go through it. For the AFC number 2, we're going to have Kansas City and Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, and the defending champions going on probably 1,000+ days. For the record, they're going to be taking on number 7 and Brock Lesnar and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, I'll go ahead and let you start this one out, Stephen Rose.
Well, this is going to be a good matchup. Obviously, Brock Lesnar is going to have 2 quarterbacks with him, so there's going to be a little bit of an advantage for the Steelers going in this direction. You're going to have Russell Wilson, an experienced veteran quarterback at 34 years old. You're also going to have another one in Justin Fields who's on the up and coming. So it's a definitely a strategy that the Steelers pulled. They were lacking quarterbacks last year, and they got rid of Kenny Pickett, sent him packing. They sent Mason Rudolph packing, and they put 2 better quarterbacks in there. And, this could be enough
bet the Steelers might get the actual upset over the Chiefs. It's possible, and the Chiefs are the two-time defending champion, but the only bad part about it is Roman Reigns seems to tend to turn it on when it's a championship match, and then he kind of takes off for like 3 months. It's going to be something like this. This is going to be a very good matchup, but I don't see the Chiefs losing right away. So I'm going to go ahead and go with Kansas City.
You think Roman Reigns still has enough
Roman
with the
Reigns
Superman one? All right. What about you, Big Kev?
This is going to be a very low-scoring game because the Steelers did pick up McQueen from the Ravens on their defense. You still got T.J. Watt. You still got Hayward. You got a really stout defense, and I think Brock will get a bunch of suplexes on Roman Reigns. But I think at the end, the wise man will show up, distract Brock long enough for Roman Reigns, Travis Kelce, and the Patrick Mahomes Kansas City Chiefs to barely squeak by and get this win.
So you think the Detroit Lions or the Denver Broncos are going to come in and then just do enough out there?
You got Pittsburgh to beat Kansas City?
No, he's got Kansas City to win.
Okay.
Because Denver interferes. Denver comes out and then distracts the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then while he's distracted on the ropes, all of a sudden he turns around, and there goes Roman Reigns for that spear. Okay. And that's what I think is going to happen.
Or it could be one of those things on a Jumbotron. You see a Vince McMahon sex tape, and everybody just gets distracted, and then Roman decides to spear him, and
then you hear, then we're all doing this right here. That's it. Okay. And then, who we got next, Steven?
All right, so Kansas City's moving on to the next round. They'll be number 2. They'll be hosting the lowest or the second or the highest seed of the 2 advancing winners. The next one. The next matchup we're going to have is number 3, the Houston Texans and Braun Breaker will be taking on the Buffalo Bills at number 6 and Gunther. Gunther versus Braun Breaker.
We'll let Kevin start with this one.
Both guys hard-hitting, both teams hard-hitting. Gunther has got that streak. He hasn't lost the Intercontinental title yet. He hasn't lost a match yet in WWE. But this is the NFL, and I think Braun Breaker, having his dad as a dog-faced gremlin and his uncle as Big Papa Pump, I think what's going to happen is Braun Breaker is going to get a lead pipe from Big Papa Pump. He's going to hit Gunther with it. And I think that we are going to see Braun Breaker and his team win this game against the Buffalo Bills.
Okay.
Okay. And you, Stephen Rose, what do you think is going to happen?
I'm going to go with the Texans to win. I think that they're going to be the very this team right here is going to come on fire. Bills don't really play well on the road, so I'm going to go ahead and go with my team to win.
I just want to see the Houston Texans Braun Breakers put the Buffalo Bills in the Steiner recliner. Put Gunther in the Steiner recliner at least once. Make him pass out. Go ahead and make him tap out. End up putting him in that Steiner recliner, and then that's all she wrote. Houston Texans goes on to the next round.
All right, Houston will be taking on Kansas City in round 2. Now, the Baltimore Ravens will be hosting this winner. The New York Jets and Brognova, I guess the NFC champion, will be taking on Randy Orton and the LA Chargers. Prodigal, why don't you start first since you picked the Chargers one?
You got the Jets, right? Yeah.
Jets.
I think that Randy Orton is just, he's experienced. He's been here. He's been to this game. He knows how it goes, right? And we know that we kind of like the New York Jets, but what else do the Jets have other than Aaron Rodgers? Not a lot going on. So I'm going to have to go with, I hear voices in my head beating the New York Giants, one and done. The Giants, you had your run. We give you this spot. This is our charity to you. Yeah. So what about you, Big Kev? Who do you got out of the Chargers and the Jets?
I got the Chargers because I think Randy Orton's going to make a statement to all the other wrestlers in this playoffs, and he's going to punt kick the shit out of that NXT champion. And he's not going to do the RKO. He's going to kick him right straight in the head. And I think the Chargers go on to face the Baltimore Ravens.
And you just know that somewhere along the lines, Randy Orton's going to say, "Daddy's back." That's what he's going to say, right?
All right.
What-
I'm going to go with the New York Jets, but Chargers got advanced because obviously the two of you guys had already picked them. But I'm going to go with the Jets. I think Aaron Rodgers not going to want to be a punk and go out one and done. And I think they'll win the home game against the Chargers. But, nonetheless, we got to advance the Chargers by majority rules. So Chargers will advance to the next round.
But what happens is Aaron Rodgers, with this loss, he can now finally be that running mate for Robert Kennedy Jr.
Yeah, RFK.
Oh,
So we could be having a Vice President Rogers here.
nice. All right,
And then we'll
so
put the-
now we've broken down the final 8. It's almost like a King of the Ring tournament now. Like we got the
Yeah.
official King of the Ring tournament. This was all the pre-qualifying now. So we have the King of the Ring tournament, all right? It's official. All right, so let's go ahead and start with the AFC. We're going to have number 1, the Baltimore Ravens, and Drew McIntyre takes on number 5, the LA Chargers and Randy Orton. Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton.
Ooh, this is a good one. I'll let Kev start with it.
Much as I do love Derrick Henry and I respect what he's done for the Tennessee Titans, and I do like Drew McIntyre, but Randy Orton is clutch when it comes to these big time decisions. And what I think is going to happen is I think Jim Harbaugh is going to take a page out of his Michigan book. He's going to find a way to cheat and helps the Chargers upset the Baltimore Ravens. So I think the Chargers will be going to the AFC Championship. Randy Orton will be waiting for his opponent.
What about you,
All right.
Steven?
Oh, who did you just pick?
Chargers.
He
Okay.
picked the Chargers. He picked Randy Orton.
Oh, I'm going to go back door here. I think the Ravens, man, they're not going to want to choke like this. I think Drew McIntyre is going to give him that, his finisher on Randy Orton, who's kind of all up there in age. Give me the Ravens to win.
Man, you know what? I just thought about something. Kev brought up a good point. And now, because I was going to go with the Ravens and Drew McIntyre, because I like Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
I think Drew McIntyre is the shit. But Kev brought up a good point. It's that heel. It's that heel. That's how you win, is being a heel. People haven't realized this shit yet. And Harbaugh is the best heel right now in the NFL, other than the Cowboys. Not named the Cowboys. Harbaugh is the best heel. And so now we have a heel Randy Orton. And like Kev said, Harbaugh is going to know about that Baltimore. It's not too far removed from Jim Harbaugh. That system is kind of set up similar. It's a hard-nosed, defensive style, run the ball. And I think that Harbaugh, now that Big Kev said that, I think that, I have to go with Randy Orton, because that's the biggest heel thing right there. He gets revenge over his team, So, I guess I'm going to go with the Chargers as well.
But the good thing about what makes this more cool is that we get the Harbaugh bowl too.
Yeah.
So, because then he's going to screw his brother, because he felt like his brother screwed him out of the Super Bowl. So he's going to go back revenge for this.
Hey, and then you know what they should do? They should they should have Dan Campbell in the stands and throw the T-shirt out.
Yeah.
What do you think you're doing?
Yeah. He can go out there and on John's behalf, he can go out there. What are you doing? They should make a Dan Campbell button, where every time you press it, it says, "What are you doing?"
Remember when Dan Campbell got screwed by Dallas last year in the refs, and he did the Stone Cold promo in the press conference? He's like, "You don't think I'm goddamn pissed right now? You don't think you cheated, you motherfuckers? What do you think happened out there? What do you think you're doing?"
We need to go ahead We need to have that shattering glass background for Dan Campbell whenever he comes out.
You know what's funny, Prodigal? When you made that video, you said, I actually agree with you that he got screwed. I just think the whole thing's funny. The NFL didn't even try to hide it. They were like, yeah, we already know we fucked you. We just wanted to get you dancing on the camera.
It was great. It was great. What are you doing?
And then the promo, he says promo at the end, he was all hulking up there. So what do you think? I'm not pissed off? You don't think I'm not pissed off what I saw up there, boy?
So we all got the Hardball Bowl and we got the Revenge Bowl. So
Okay, so now we got the next game. Ready?
okay.
Okay, this is fun, by the way. This is one of the fun videos. We should start doing this, like mixing wrestling up with sport.
I've been saying this is what we should be doing the whole
We can do
time.
it for the NBA playoffs. You know, once the
Yeah.
playoffs end. Yeah.
Okay, so
Well,
what's the next one?
Most likely Cody
Yes.
Rhodes, though, the Celtics. But we'll get into another video for that.
Yeah. So what we
Okay.
got? What's our next matchup?
We're gonna have the Kansas City Chiefs and Roman Reigns and the Tribal Chief in the 1,000+ days, streak. It's gonna be taking on the Houston Texans and Braun Breaker. Ooh,
Ooh.
I'll go last. One of y'all go. I think Prodigal should go first.
Now, I'm going to be fair. Last year, I thought, and this is what I really wanted to see, I thought that that the Houston Texan Braun Breakers were going to get to play them sometime in the playoffs. They were going to play Roman Reigns, and they were going to put Roman Reigns out as revenge for putting him out in the AFC, one of the divisional rounds, I think it was. Whenever y'all jumped up out on them, and then all of a sudden they come back. I thought y'all were going to get your revenge for getting screwed by the officiating, but that didn't happen. So, this year, it looks like D'Amico Ryans is doing everything that he can to make sure that, they're taking the best advantage of CJ Stroud. Man, Braun Breaker is a beast. He is a beast. But so is, it's hard because we know Roman Reigns has the experience. He's been the tribal chief for 1,000 days now, probably more than 1,000 days. And so we know that if there's going to be any kind of the WWE is going to do everything that they can to keep that title on Roman Reigns. So they're not going to fix the shit. You remember whenever y'all had to play Drew McIntyre, Steven, how many flags? Y'all should have had Dan Campbell out there going out there saying, "What are you doing?
Yeah,
what are you doing?"
Quarter, they were throwing flags on us left and right. Like they threw like 8 on us in one quarter. I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. So I think that what's going to happen is Braun's going to come out there and he's going to show that he's a blue blood and that he is a Steiner and that he is the son of Rick Steiner and he is the nephew of Scott Steiner. And then the Houston Texans are going to come out and man, Roman Reigns doesn't know what to hit it, doesn't know because he's never faced anything like a Steiner before. However, that's the exact same thing that happens is that officiating is going to start breaking up holds. That officiating is going to sit there and say, your guy. He's going to sit there and try to keep doing fast counts for Roman. All of a sudden, Braun's going to get it. He needs to go ahead and job. All of a sudden, Roman comes in. The bloodline helps him out. 1, 2, 3. Roman beats Braun, Houston Texans, and the tribal chief, the Kansas City Chiefs, go on to the next round.
Okay, I'm also gonna go with the Kansas City Chiefs too. I think the Texans are gonna lose, but not in a clean fashion. They're gonna get screwed.
Yeah,
like that. That's what I got. So I got Kansas City. You, Kev?
I got the Tribal Chief and the Kansas City Chiefs on this one. I mean, the bloodline's going to help. Braun Breaker's going to give him a fight of his life, but at the end, Roman Reigns is going to spear and get the 1, 2, 3.
Okay, I'll tell you. Okay, I know Kev's got to go in a few minutes, so I'll tell you what, Kev. Why don't you do this so you could be a tiebreaker for me in Prodigal? Who do you got out of San Fran and Rams? We'll let you go first. It's going to be San Fran at home, Cody Rhodes, Bobby Lashley, and the Rams at 7.
I think what's going to happen is the Rams are going to leave for majority of the game. Halftime hits. Cody Rhodes is going to go to Roger Goodell and Triple H and go, trying to win the Super Bowl for my mama. like I said, then the Rock's going to be there in the crowd. Rock's going to be in the suite saying, "Shut the fuck up, you punk ass bitch," and but then Cody's going to find a way. He's going to, with Kyle Shanahan and the San Francisco 49ers, Cody Rhodes is going to find a way to get himself in the NFC Championship. So I think Cody Rhodes will actually squeak by Bobby Lashley and the Rams, even though I like Lashley a lot better, but that's just beside the point.
I got San Fran as well. I think the Rock lost to Bobby Lashley. I don't think he's going to help Cody, but at the same time, Cody's they're going to have to give him a push. So I got Niners to advance. Prodigal.
Yeah, and I've already said that Cody cries and confuses Bobby, and then he hits him with the crossroads while Bobby's confused, and all of a sudden 1, 2, 3. So it's unanimous here. We got Cody trying to finish that story.
Okay, next one is going to be Green Bay and AJ Styles at home taking on the Atlanta Falcons and CM Punk. Kev, take it away.
Damn. A match that I think we probably have seen in the Indies, but we've never seen live. AJ is still at the top of his game, one of the best wrestlers in the world. CM Punk calls himself the best wrestler in the world. I actually am going to have to say that I think that CM Punk finds a way to squeak by Green Bay. And he is going. What happens is AJ makes a mistake. He does for the pale kick, and then he's going to go and try to do that phenomenal forearm. Punk's going to catch him, hit him with the GTS. And I think that Atlanta goes and faces San Francisco in the NFC Championship.
All right. I'm going to go with Green Bay at home. I got AJ Styles to put over and barely get squeaked by the Atlanta Falcons. So I'm going to go with them. And I got AJ Styles going to Prodigal, you're next.
I think that I got to lean with you. I think that AJ Styles will hit CM Punk with that Pele kick out of nowhere. And all of a sudden, he's not going to know what to do. It's a young and inexperienced team. He's still coming up, but that wily old vet CM Punk just finds a way, or that I think AJ Styles still finds a way to come back because he's a little bit more tested right now. I think that AJ Styles ends up, he was there last year. He's going to be there. I think he's on a mission to go ahead and try, and he wants to face the tribal chief. So,
all right, we're down to the final four. Kev, you'll go first. We're going to have Roman Reigns and the tribal chief taking on number 5 in the Chargers, and what was it? Randy Orton.
See, Harbaugh tries to squeak in there again and tries to cheat. But what happens is that Andy Reid is he's reading off Andy Reid's play sheet. Taylor Swift comes down to the field, whispers into Roman Reigns' ear of what they're doing. So the bloodline comes out of nowhere, hits Harbaugh with a chair, takes Harbaugh out of the game. And then at the end, Randy Orton is RKOing everybody he sees in sight, but he turns around, low blow, Superman punch, spear, Roman Reigns goes to the Super Bowl and waits for his opponent.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and go with KC as well. I got KC to win. I think Roman Reigns is going to go to the Super Bowl again as a 3-time champion. So I'm going to go with Roman, and Prodigal, take it away.
Just that right there. Right there. We are
You want to add to it? Okay. We're going to have number 1, San Francisco. And Cody Rhodes taking on Green Bay and AJ Styles. Kev, take it away.
What a matchup this would be in the ring if we saw it on there. AJ is like a pit bull. Stone Cold called him a pit bull. AJ is a pit bull. If AJ gets a hold of you, AJ does not let go. But I think what happens is AJ gets him in that calf crusher, but Cody cries so much that the crying makes AJ lose the grip. And then Cody goes and does that little springboard RKO and then hits the crossroads. And Cody Rhodes gets some help. And he goes and faces Roman Reigns
again
at WrestleMania.
I'm gonna go with Green Bay and AJ Styles to get the win on this one. I think we're gonna want to see something new. God damn it, I'm tired of seeing this shit. So I'm gonna have to go with Green Bay, and I'll leave the tiebreaker to Prodigal on this one.
Okay, so we got AJ Styles and Cody Rhodes, right? And
AJ Styles and Cody Rhodes. Yeah. Green
Bay. AJ Styles and Cody Rhodes, and we've seen Cody. He's finishing his story, and all of a sudden he thinks he's fixing to win, and he thinks he's eliminated. He's thrown AJ Styles over the rope. He's fixing to win the Royal Rumble, right? That's it. It's over. But he doesn't fully throw AJ Styles over the rope. AJ Styles had held on. He comes back, and while Cody's celebrating, AJ Styles flips Cody Rhodes over the road, and all of a sudden, we just zoom in, and Cody Rhodes is on there crying and shit, He's over there just that's what he's doing. And so I've got AJ Styles going to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania.
All right, so we're down to the championship match. The King of the Ring tournament. We got Kansas City and Roman Reigns versus Green Bay and AJ Styles. Kev, take it away.
I think this is the time now where Roman Reigns' luck has finally run out. Kansas City's luck has finally run out. Taylor Swift's luck has finally ran out. I think AJ Styles is a man on a mission. He is the pit bull. And I think AJ Styles has got more experience than Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is going to have the bloodline involved, but Cody Rhodes is also going to have Gallows and Anderson come out there to take care of stuff. Cody is going to be so pissed off that he's going to come out there and he's going to try to help AJ Styles beat Roman Reigns. And I think that we will see a crowning of a new champion with Green Bay and AJ Styles.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and go with Kansas City. I got the Tribal Chief and Roman Reigns to repeat as champ. And I think that they're good. I think the NFL wants to book them as probably the first team ever to go as a 3-time champion. And seeing as Roman Reigns hasn't lost a damn belt in forever, it kind of probably makes more sense to push this narrative. So go ahead and give me the Kansas City Chiefs to win. So I got Kansas City, and Kev, you got Green Bay, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Prodigal, this is basically right now. This is your own WrestleMania right here, because you basically break the tiebreaker. So your vote, basically your pick right now, determines who is the champion and who wins. We'll let you take it away.
Okay, so what I think is there's going to be some bullshittery here. I think Taylor Swift's going to try to get involved. However, this Super Bowl is in 2025, so they're not trying to rig any more elections and shit. The election will be over by this point in time. Taylor Swift may break up with Travis Kelce. This may affect them a little bit. You're going to see a lot of turning and whatnot. That bloodline is strong, right? That's what they say. And the bloodline's going to come out there and try and help Roman Reigns. But we've got the phenomenal AJ Styles. And as we all know, the AJ Styles, whenever you're facing AJ Styles, you got this thing called the Bullet Club. And all of a sudden, you start getting some of these little vanilla midget A&W wrestling motherfuckers in there now. you get Kenny Omega and shit coming out. And here,
Adam
they're
Cole,
trying to-
baby.
yeah, Adam Cole. Look at all these. All of a sudden, Roman's confused and he sees all these vanilla midgets around. And all of a sudden, here comes AJ Styles with that Pele kick. And all of a sudden, Kenny Omega's over there. 1, 2, 3, and it's over. And we have a new
Wow. So
Super Bowl WWE champion.
Green Bay Packers. Wow.
That's how you
All right,
book.
Kev finally signed it. He said, I had to get out of here. I don't blame him. That's why I sped it up at the event. Hey, Prodigal, this was a very good video. I hope that we do more like this. And I understand that other video probably kind of burned you out on that first chapter. But I think if we redo it, I could be able to do my research because I understand most of the stuff that we covered on that first chapter. So I can add to it, be more part of the conversation. And if you want to redo that on my channel, I'm all for it.
We can go over some things on your channel. We could do a video on your channel, maybe Friday.
Yeah. And we
I'll
can
go
redo
over
it
it,
all over
nothing
again. The
and
first chapter and everything. I don't mind.
But yeah, we don't have to go through the whole chapter. There's really one thing that I really wanted to get across to everybody and stuff on that. But yeah, we can go ahead and do something on your channel. By the way, both links to Big Kev's channel and Steven Rose's channel, they're in the descriptions. Go ahead and click on them, sub to them, and follow them.
Absolutely. This was a very good video. I hope that your channel's not shadow banned again. They put you on punishment.
Dude, they've never taken me off a shadow ban. I've been shadow banned since 2017.
There's no way you should only have one view right now. You should have like 5 or 6.
I mean, I'm on Twitter and I'm on Facebook, but like I said, none of these internet sites like me too much. You know what I'm saying? And that's just because when you speak truth, that's just what happens.
Yeah, you saw those government shields in my damn accounts lately.
Oh, dude, that's all that's on the fucking internet anymore is government shields. And they're certainly not going to watch my channel unless they're going to steal something. Like they may watch your video. They may watch your video when we're talking about the subject that we're talking about it so they can talk about it and pretend like they know about the shit. Yeah, I see a lot of my stuff, dude.
You'll see like it'll say my stream went up to 14 people at one point. And it's like 10 people all trolling, and I'm like, it's got to be one person with so many sock accounts, or it's got to be maybe 2 people with multiple sock accounts.
Yeah, it's these fucking gamer guys, these geeks that play video games all the time. That pretty much, it's like football, right? You remember we used to watch football, and it was a game. Now it looks like Madden. It looks scripted, and it's the same. Which we'll probably do an NBA video. We'll book the NBA. And, that's what it is. And it's like, these. We can do baseball. We can do football. We could just start scripting all these sports. And this was just our script that we're going to give to Roger Goodell. Because, like I said, everybody kind of knows that everything is synthetic now. You go on Twitter and they're talking about bloodbath and shit. And it's like, I'm so far removed out of these elections and stuff, and the shit that you're doing is an absolute joke. Good luck trying to hang on. I mean, they're wanting to go to war with like Palestine. You're wanting to go to war with Russia, but I don't see any of them joining the military. You know what I'm saying? But you want us to go to war.
Up for it.
Yeah, they want us to go to war, So, I mean, everything is so synthetic and generic, man.
Nothing's original anymore.
Like it's like whenever I go on Twitter, it's like it melts. Are you still there?
Yeah. You know what the funny thing is when I
is that me or is it?
Like can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, can you hear me?
I think they're putting you on punishment right now. Yeah, I think they're putting you on punishment right now. Hello? Prodigal.
Okay. Is that better?
Yeah. What happened?
Okay. Oh, I was on a different internet. For some reason, I hit my Wi-Fi and my cell phone. Like I said, that's why I do these things on my cell phone. I forgot to turn my Wi-Fi off, and so I was on my home internet. So it breaks up quite a bit.
Is it faster when you use your home internet on your phone, or is it better when you just use the
Yeah, whenever I use the internet on my phone, because if it was faster, if StreamYard worked better on Wi-Fi, then I would be doing digital videos and all kinds of shit. But it just doesn't work as good like the Google Hangouts did. Like, the Google Hangouts were the bomb. But this is okay. But because this used to be free. We used to be able to live stream for free. It used to be a part of like YouTube where you could bring in people and stuff like that. Then they got rid of that so they could charge for it. So, I mean, my channel's shadow banned, and we got four more people. Because, like I said, this is on Twitter too. So it seems like Twitter's all about that. Twitter's all about the drama. That's what they're about.
Hey, so Twitter, it hadn't changed since Elon took over.
Dude, it's just shills and grifters. That's all it is. And like it's mostly females for the most part. There's a couple of guys, like you got Val Venus, which he's pretty cool, and then you got Critical Thinker Drinker. He's pretty cool. I get along with that dude. But like, there's not a lot of dudes on there, to be honest with you. Not any cool ones. Most of them are like fucking femboys.
That's not good. So they all got chased off the internet.
It's like they're gamer guys that like Dungeons and Dragons shit and talking about anime porn, and that's kind of lame as fuck. It's lame.
It seems like our society has gone down the drain.
Dude, I was, I'm at work, and of course they're doing some remodeling, and I was out there watching it, and they hooked up this new system. And this little fucking millennial nerdy dude, fucking, these guys, you got to have patience with them because they think they know every fucking thing. So I'm like, yeah, they hooked this system up a couple of weeks ago. Oh, they didn't hook that system up. And then he turned to the tech that was there. Yeah, we're not hooking that system up out here. He goes, yeah, that's part of the system. And I'm like, I tried to tell you. And see, that's why nobody likes these gamer guys is they pretend like they know every fucking thing. And then they try to sit there and show somebody up, but it's like, dude, you don't have a fucking clue what you're talking about. And I work so much with these gamer guys who just can't interact with anybody. It's just they're socially awkward, dude. So yeah, society right now, like people can't interact in reality if they get off that Xbox or the fucking GameCube or whatever the fuck they're playing these days. They can't. It's like they can't function in regular society. They don't know how to communicate.
Outside of the internet, yeah, they don't have the hands-on training skills and all that.
Yeah, you get them on a video game or something, and dude, this is what I'm sitting there saying. So I made that video last week, man. Matt Walsh dropped a video saying that the game culture is kind of like brainwashing these people to be like that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And they all got pissed. But it's true. It's absolutely 110% fucking true. These guys are what? They're out there fucking hashtagging that they'll hashtag Civil War or they'll hashtag World War III. But none of them are going to join the military now, are they? Not a one of them. But they'll hashtag the shit because they play it on a video game. They're playing these little video games of the Civil War or of World War III. And then they'll come out and they can't escape. They can't get out of that mindset. And then they hashtag the shit talking about how they're going to go like Tim Pool. Damn good and well, Tim Pool is not about to fucking join a regiment and live a military life. He's not going to, but he'll sit there and say that we're this close. And then Destiny on the other side, this fucking gamer nerd here with the blue hair, this motherfucker isn't about to fight any war. So, I mean, where are you getting the Civil War? You can have martial law in New York. You're not going to get it here in Texas, but in New York, what do I give a shit? I don't.
Facts. That is so true, man. I know the other week you told me they were canceling truck orders and your truck drivers are getting mad. Is that still happening?
They're doing construction. So I know that that was a couple of weeks ago, and then like it's been running pretty good the past week or so.
Yeah.
But since they're doing construction, there wasn't a lot of traffic coming through today because they're doing construction in the area, so I didn't have to worry about anything. I mean, there was trucks coming through, right? There was still trucks coming through, just not that many. And so, but like I said, they're setting up a new automated system. So,
Do you like it? Do you like the new automated system?
not really. And one of the issues is, I can tell you one thing, is that it gets a communication problem, right?
Mhm.
It's not fully automated. Basically, what the system does is it calls somebody, and they're doing a lot of the work, and they're doing the data entry part of it, and then they're communicating directly with the truck drivers. There's only one problem, is that these people doing the automated system are from India, right? So English isn't their first language. And so they're speaking English, don't get me wrong, but they speak at a faster pace. Then a lot of the truck drivers are like from Mexico, which English isn't their first language.
Mm-hmm.
But they speak a slower. So I'm constantly having to, go over there and figure out and transfer English from English because they can't understand each other. It's English, but they just can't understand each other.
Yeah. It's a dialect. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the dialect that they speak in, and they just can't stand. They can't understand each other. So, like, that's what I'm saying is that there's, everybody thinks everything's going to go fully automated and stuff like that. Yeah, you've got kiosks at Walmart, but you're not going to be able to get everything fully automated, dude. Not for a while.
But do you think we'll all be out of work by then?
I can tell you right now, because I hear this shit all the time. And it's like, I think that for the most part, like I went out today, I went to the Dollar Tree and I went to the dollar store. Forgot what I had to get some lunch. So I got some little oodles and noodle packages at the Dollar Tree.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went to the dollar store, get some food for the outside animals. And everybody's so pleasant. In real life, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Have a good day. It's a lot different than it was coming out of the fucking Comic-Con years.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was just, So it seems like society is starting to change a little bit,
mm-hmm.
and I think that a lot of people are. I think that people are investing in the internet a lot less, which is a good thing, mind
Mm-hmm.
you. And they're just going out, living their. Like I said, I don't even watch YouTube anymore.
Yeah,
I spend a lot more.
Even those shields they got right now, like the Pearly things and the Justin Wallers and the Tate brothers, like they got them off of YouTube. Like I don't even see their shit streaming anymore.
Like I spend more time on the internet at work, as far as like X and shit like that, than I do at home.
Wow.
Whenever I'm at home, I don't deal with the shit anymore. At work, since I don't have a lot of shit to do, I'll get in there, see what's trending. Whoever pops up is usually who I'm going to troll for the day. And first, some of them I like. There's some people on there that are really cool, really. But then you got some of these, and it's not like I said, the trolls are not like anything like we had back in. So that's why they're not doing anything with the culture war. I've said this many times. When we were doing, they don't understand why everybody went out on independent media and basically just thoroughly own their ass in the culture war. They got their ass handed to them. And the State Department can't deal with it. So, of course, they had to ban Alex Jones. That was the first thing. Everybody should have got behind Alex Jones and said, no, you're not about to ban Alex Jones. We don't give a shit about your Sandy hoax. Fuck you. Have a nice day. We're tired of your fucking government bullshitty news. That's what they should have done. And then the internet would have probably been a decent place to market on. But I don't see how, anybody could really market on the internet anymore. And the products look like shit anyways. And so, like, YouTube, if I catch one of your shows come up, I'll get in. But if I'm like seeing a bunch of these like like Mark Dice's and shit like that come up now, I don't even bother because I know I'm going to get a commercial and it's going to be utter cringe, and they're all talking about the same shit. It's like Operation Mockingbird. So nobody can be interested in this, these people that are, it's just like watching the wrestling. They're all on YouTube. They're all saying Cody Rhodes got screwed. Cody Rhodes, and so they're not trying to, do anything different. They're not trying to separate themselves. Like, you would do your thing, do the sexiest man alive thing, and then troll, with the sexiest man alive gimmick that you had. I might be doing
just for retro, just to play fun,
Yeah, I would be doing the prodigal heel thing, doing my wrestling shoots, saying,
I miss the mask gimmick you used to do. What you used to call it?
Which one?
Where you used to wear that mask.
Oh, that would be Sleeper taking over. And that was inspired by Blake the Reaper and stuff, because Blake would always tell me that I would do, all he's got to do is cut one video on me, and he'd get a 30-minute response. So I just started mocking him.
You should do one of those, man. You should do like a retro.
I got it. The mask may be around here. I have to find my mask. But yeah.
What do you do on your off days? You just kind of just chill, or what?
It just depends. I may start going out a little bit more on my off days. Really, I don't.
Go?
I don't know. I got a bunch of friends. Like, as far as like work goes, I'm pretty popular. A lot of people, they kind of like me because I got that sense of humor where I'm not trying to be a fucking, I'm not trying to, yeah. I'm not trying to sit there and, plot and scheme and do all that bullshit. I just like to sit back and chill and stuff. So a lot of people like working with me. A lot of the people up there like me, but I just don't like it when they get into that political shit. So that's why I had to move where I did.
But at least you're in the office now and you just kind of chill on your own desk,
Yeah, and I don't have to deal with a lot of drama. But like I said, now I got more people in there because they're doing construction, so it's been busy. But other than that, they're trying to expand or something. I don't know what the hell they're trying to do. I keep asking them, but the communication sucks too because we got too many Chiefs and not enough Indians. And I'm one of the Chiefs. One of the Chiefs saying that. But, I say I'll be happy with the fucking shift working overnight by myself. I ain't got to worry about shit neither. But
so when are you taking your vacation?
Oh, I've already got my vacation paid for last year, so I just catching up. But like I said, I may go start hanging out. Maybe me and you and Travis can go out one time this, in the not too distant future. I'm just trying to get shit caught up right now.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get shit paid off. That way, whenever it comes to the end of the year, I can have some money if I want to go take some time off, and then me, you, Steven, go see your Houston Texans beat my Dallas Cowboys or something.
No, we'll figure something out. Yeah, because like I said, I got an interview on Wednesday for the county. So if that all works out, that means I'm gonna have a little extra money on me and stuff. Be able to take care of my bills and everything.
Yeah, I'll be getting a raise here too pretty soon. So.
Oh, Walmart giving you a raise?
Yeah, like $2 raise.
That's not bad.
So. I'll be making more here pretty soon. But like I said, I'm just trying to what I'm really trying to do is get everything paid off. That's what I'm trying to do.
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
That way, once that happens, and a lot of that money that I'm using to pay is going to go straight to the bank account, maybe buying some stocks, but save up a good little nest egg, and then go out and start, hanging out maybe with you, some of these people at work, stuff like that.
Yeah. Maybe even one day I could drive up there, man, and maybe I'll spend in a hotel over there, like somewhere close to you, and then we can hang out for that weekend, something like that,
Yeah. The only thing is that there's not a lot to do around here. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Austin, San Antonio's pretty cool. We just maybe me, you, and Travis need to, plan or do something,
Oh, I'm definitely down. Yeah.
That'd be cool. Like I said, I don't drink, so y'all guys can go ahead and get fucking slobber knocked. And
Yeah, I don't really drink. I'm just gonna, if anything, I'll probably just eat. I don't
yeah,
drink either.
yeah. I stopped drinking a while ago. So
When did you stop drinking? What year?
well, it was well before I did that fucking video where I got drunk on stream. I'd already stopped drinking by that point in time.
What was it, like 2013,
I'll
2014?
probably say 2012.
Nice.
Before I started doing YouTube. I only drunk one other time, and that's because I was going out with this chick, and she wanted to go out to the fucking bar, and then I regretted it the very next night. I mean, it was a good night for me, but the day kind of sucked. The next day.
What was it, like back in 2011?
No, this would have been 2013, 2014, something like that. But like, I'm a lightweight now, so I can't drink for shit. I'm just being
Plus, you
real.
don't want to get back into it,
No, I don't. But I can go hang out with other people and they drink, and then I can be a designated driver. And the cool thing is that if you're a designated driver, usually you can drink sodas for free. And with my personality, I can still, be have conversations with people, even not drunk. I don't need to be drunk. So.
Sounds good. So when's the next video you want to do?
Well, if we want to do that one on your channel, we can do that on Friday. But you said you wanted to book the NBA, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to do that on my channel?
NHL too.
Do you want to do that on my channel?
Yeah, I'm down, man. I'm down.
Okay, so I'll let you go ahead and.
The NBA playoffs doesn't. Well, the NBA season doesn't end until I think April 11th. So it probably wouldn't make sense to do it until then. Until like the bracket's set.
Okay, I'll tell you what. You can be in charge of finding the wrestlers, putting it down, setting it up, and then we'll go off your list because you're going to know more about the NBA.
I'll tell you what. How about Friday we go into your book? Like we do it again, but this time I'll be more involved because I can actually do a little bit of my own research on some of this stuff because I still remember the conversation. So,
well, okay, here's the deal, right? And, it's funny because I explained it to you, and the whole deal is like a lot of people, the Zionists right now are trying to push for war in the Middle East. That's what they're trying to do. And whenever I say the Zionists, I'm talking about people that say they're Christians, but they really work for the state. They work on the state's best interests. So this ends up being the issue now. Is that, I got friends in the Middle East, in Lebanon and stuff like that are real Christians. They're not, they're not, they come out here and they testify and then they do their stuff too. However, you got a lot of these fucking millennial video game nerds out there that is pretty much the only thing that's taking over this platform right now. They're the ones, Tim Pool's doing the media, doing the media right now with his fucking analytical, you got to be stupid if you don't, doing that shit. You might as well be sitting that motherfucker by Morse code. I've seen Morse code with more fucking charisma than Tim Pool. But people follow the shit and they get invested into it. It's very analytical bullshit. And what's their excuse for going into the Middle East and using Israel is that Israel is God's chosen people. Well, think about it for a second, right? Israel was a people. It was a people. Mm-hmm. It was, fucking God made the covenant with Abraham. He didn't make the covenant with the Jews. The Jews wasn't around whenever they are a tribe of Jacob's. You know what I'm saying? They were a specific tribe. There was 12 tribes, Levites, Benjamites, and everything like that. Yeah. So what you have is a bunch of these shills that are out there. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're trying to be Christians. Yeah. But okay, so Jesus, why did the Jews thought that Jesus was going to come in, that he was going to overthrow Rome, and that he was going to give everything to them, right? Mm-hmm. And he didn't. Well, why didn't he? Because God never made the promise with the Jews. He made a promise with Abraham that his people, his seed, would be protected. Well, I've already explained to you who qualifies as being the seed of Abraham. Because if it takes one descendant to be considered a seed of Abraham, and you follow back for 7 generations, where you're going to have like 250 fucking relatives that qualify, and you're just going to increase your chances. So when Jesus came back to go ahead and preach the gospel, how is Jesus going to judge people? First off, how is God going to judge people at that point in time that didn't even know didn't know God? These people didn't know God. They didn't have the access that the Hebrews did to the Lord. They didn't get to spend time with God in the desert and all this kind of stuff. So if God were to judge, everybody in the world except for the Jews, that wouldn't make much sense, would it? So now we go back and take that seed of Abraham. Well, the Hebrews were passed. They were in Egypt, right? They came out of Egypt. They formed their own country. That means that there's going to be some people that are Egyptian that are the seed of Abraham, because that they, mixed races and stuff like that. When the Jews were taken into captivity in Babylon, that means that some of the Babylonians are going to have a link to Abraham, the Persians as well, the Romans as well, the Greeks as well. So if Jesus were to come back and say, okay, we're going to judge the world, and we're going to go ahead and get rid of all of the enemies of the seed of Abraham, well, you're having to go back 2,000 generations, just like I told you. So if you got one parent, or if you got two parents, right, and you got 4 grandparents, then you got 8 great-grandparents, then you got 16 great-great-grandparents, and then you keep on multiplying it back, it would be, how are you going to sit there and say that these are God's specific chosen people?
Interesting.
I mean, God said that He would make Abraham's descendants as many as the seeds of the sands of the sea, so many that you couldn't possibly count them. Well, you look at what these people are saying are the Jews, and that we need to go ahead and do what the Jews tell us to do, right? And that we need to protect these Jewish people. Okay, well, how come there's only like 16 million Jews across the world? I can tell you who is a descendant of Abraham, and that's Ishmael, which are the people over there that you're saying that that they're trying to push to get evict them out of their land and whatnot.
Yeah,
but I think that ultimately you can come. I mean, you go back and look at the history of Israel right now, and this set of people. I'm not talking about the land. I'm not even talking about the Israelites, because, like I said, you go back into Kings, and the Bible states that Rehoboam was the king that succeeded King Solomon, and that his mom. And it mentions that. Why does it make sure? Because God wants you to know that that Rehoboam, that Namor, was a fucking Ammonite, and that's when they became Ammonites. That's when they started worshiping Moloch. So these people are just hell bent on taking over the Middle East, and like I said, there's some good people over there that just want like nothing more than to live their lives. And I, as somebody who is in the military, I don't see the point in going over there and causing any more trouble, regardless if they're Muslims or if a lot of them are Orthodox Christians. We don't consider that. So, yeah, that's the main point that I kind of really wanted to hammer home, as far as like any kind of, because like I
they would
said,
be considered Edomites, right?
Ammonites. Yeah.
Ammonites. Okay.
Ammonites. Yeah. That's where the Bible traces their lineage to. Now, like I said, the Ammonites were descended from Lot. I mean, they were Ammonites before Lot, but the lineage carried on through Lot. And so they were the number one adversaries for the actual Israelites. And, whenever Stephen, like I said, after your namesake, Stephen, whenever he went over there, he wanted to go over there to Israel and try to save them, and they stoned him to death, these people. And so that's whenever you get Paul taking the gospel out to the Gentiles. And like I said, technically we all probably have a claim if we wanted to go ahead and make it, we all have a claim that we could be the seed of Abraham. It's not just the fucking Jews. You trace your lineage back far enough, you're going to find somebody that's, in 4,000 years, you trace back, like I told you, going back, you multiply two. It would be impossible for you not to have at least one relative that was, came from Abraham. Be impossible.
So we all have to at least have one descendant, minimum.
Yeah.
From Abraham.
Yeah.
Wow.
The fucking black Hebrew Israelites that claim that, oh yeah, they're the true Israelites, and these the white Aryans that claim that they're the real Israelites. That's not the way that it works. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the reason for that. So, but like I said, right now you've got these people pushing false doctrine. And I think that they're going to run with it, and that's okay, because it's all God's plan. So it doesn't scare me that much. But my whole deal is I want to have it out there. That way, if, people are going to sit there and they're going to jump on board and they're going to be deceived. But at least, it's out there. I put it out there. And if at this point in time, you chose to be deceived. You chose to sit there and call me a conspiracy theorist. So, that's like, that's just like every prophet that was out there. Elijah, all these guys, that's what they were considered crazy. And like I said, you're not really considered a prophet until after, other people have to consider you a prophet. So whatever you say comes to pass. They didn't call him a prophet. They didn't call Elijah a prophet until after he passed away, until after he was gone. Then he was a prophet.
Oh, so you have to pass away for that to happen.
Right. It's other people that consider you a prophet. So you can't just come out here and claim you're a prophet. So that's why I never even try to sit there and claim that I'm a prophet. I've had people that said I should sit there and claim to be a prophet, but I mean, that's not good, because then you're testing God, and I'm not going to test God. You can if you want to, but I just see things and then I put it out, and then it's just basically a warning. It's what it is. It's just saying, hey, if you do this, this is what's going to happen. And I can tell you right now, if you get involved with any of the stuff that the State Department's doing, any of the media stuff, it never works out in your best interest. So the best thing to do is let cooler heads prevail. We can come down here, we can sit down, we can figure shit out. We don't have to build a border wall. We can do an American Springs. We can make life better in Mexico. That would be the way to work it out, not building up a border wall, not sitting here keeping on funding a CIA that's funding these drug cartels and these sex trafficking rings. At some point in time, we need to go ahead and say, well, this is our fault. We need to fix this shit. And the reason why we've been so apathetic towards what they're doing, then, this is what you get right now. So
you think we need to get rid of the CIA?
I think we need to get rid of everything. I think we need to go and audit the government, find out exactly what's going on. It's not going to clean itself. The swamp is not going to clean itself. So, yeah. And I meant, it's just, it's absolutely, like I said, right now they just look at people. They look at everybody out there, like with the sports that we know is rigged. We know it's scripted. You look at how they handle politics, where they want to send all this money to Ukraine. They want to send all this money to Israel. They're trying to sit there and slowly take over the world. And, if you're comfortable with that, there's nothing I can do. All I can do is put out the information and say that this is how we should do it. And if people do it, they do it. If they don't, they don't. I'll get shadow banned. That's fine. Shadow ban me. But at least the information's out here on the web.
Exactly.
So if, people find it and they say, oh, okay, I learned something from this, or I've got a better solution, because you're going to get more solutions in society, because society is going to want to fix these problems than you're going to get from the government, because there's no incentive for these people to fix these problems. They're talking about banning TikTok. They're talking about banning TikTok and taking. But you know what? Whenever they kicked off everybody else, all these free independent media people like myself, when they start to shadow ban us, well, then why the fuck should I give a fuck if they start banning your shit? I
Yep.
don't. Well, ban TikTok, ban Twitch, ban all these motherfucking platforms. Don't let anybody.
Do you think they should?
No, I don't. I don't think. I think that. I don't think I would give them the authority. I don't think. I myself wouldn't give them the authority. Fuck you. You didn't chip in on this shit. All you did is come in, take everything over, make everything worse. That's all you've ever fucking did. And so I don't think that they should. I don't think that we should allow them to. But here is the deal. Everybody's been so apathetic that you already know that you should have never let them do half the shit that they've done. Well, you give them that inch and they're going to take that fucking mile. And so, what do you want me to do about it? That's what I said whenever they said.
I think the problem is with TikTok is, well, number one, it's the Chinese spyware, but number two, it's the fact that they're taking our information and selling it to the market, the black market. So that's why they can look up your address and your number and instantly get it.
Yeah,
but that used to never be a thing.
So does our fucking government. You know what I'm saying? Our government does the same exact shit.
That should be illegal, though. It
really should be illegal. It really should be illegal for anybody to do it, regardless if it's China or if it's the United States. Mm-hmm. And so the United States would have an argument if they didn't do the same shit.
But isn't it illegal like doxing? Ain't that illegal?
It's one of those fuzzy things to where, and like I said, I could get a dox, but, if you put your information out there, it is what it is. Now, doxing doesn't really mean shit anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't mean anything. So, I meant, the whole deal is it's like,
it still doesn't sound right for the government to be selling your private information, though, to the black market. I still think that's wrong.
Right. And so if the United States government never done that, then they would have an argument. I'd be like, yeah, okay, well, I understand China's taking our fucking information and they're giving it to these fucking car extended warranty motherfuckers for them to call them 15 times a day. So, yeah, let's ban the motherfucker. However, our government does it. And they do it too.
Yeah, they sold our private information to India and Pakistan. That's why they're able to call us 30,000 times a day from a guy named Robert with the Indian accent that speaks no English.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, that's so I don't want to hear any shit about you wanting to ban TikTok all of a sudden. I don't like TikTok.
Well, the only thing about TikTok, I think the reason why they really want to ban it is because they realize that nobody wants to work.
I think, well, that's part of the problem. Half these people that are internet influencers, first off, you're not internet influencers. You're not influencing anybody. The market is kind of dying off on it already, which I already told you would probably happen.
Yeah, I noticed that.
It's, like I said, first off, we didn't really market our shit, and I think, between you and me, I'm actually kind of surprised at how many people see our content, and know who we are.
Well, I think what it is is I think back then we did it just for the fun of it because it was a hobby and we enjoyed it.
We had fun with it. We liked doing it.
It wasn't about the money. I mean, if you made a couple bucks here, all power to you. But it most people that got on YouTube just did it for like as a hobby.
Right. And so we were all friends helping each other out. And, it was, but now they all market themselves. It's all a fucking, grift, basically.
Yeah, basically.
And they're all covering the same shit. So you don't have one video of some gamer nerdy bullshit that nobody cares about. You have 500 videos all over YouTube.
Yeah, you got 500 content makers all doing prank videos. It's like, how many times do we have to keep seeing this? And it just waters and saturates everything down.
Yeah, and it's just dumb where that's why I said, whenever I go on YouTube anymore, I'll scroll down and if I see you or Big Kev or somebody going live, I'll click on it. But if I'll go down, see what's up. But if I don't see anything, or if anybody's responded to any of the comments I've made on their videos, which I don't even watch, I just kind of leave a smug ass comment.
Yeah.
And Dark Horse will send me more shit really than anybody. Maybe like Scott Casey, but like I said, a lot of the stuff they're not talking about anything. It's like the Cody Rhodes thing. Everybody's like, "Oh, The Rock's screwing Cody Rhodes." You don't get one video saying that The Rock is screwing Cody Rhodes. You get like 10,000 of the motherfuckers. So and that's always been like for me personally, and I think that a lot of these guys is when we came out. You look at Dark Horse, right? Dark Horse came out doing John Cena rants when John Cena was the most over guy in the WWE.
Yeah.
And the same thing with me. That's one of the reasons why I started watching Dark Horse, is because there was a lot of us that didn't like John Cena being shoved down our throats, but he was popular because WWE was pushing him.
Yeah.
And so a lot of us kind of got together, started doing the John Cena rants. And that's really kind of what took off. That's really kind of what built the YWC, WJ, Dark Horse, all these guys. We all had a common enemy, pretty
Charlie
much.
Wolf Cow, Sean's View Entertainment,
Yeah,
Brad
and
Rolls,
yeah. So that's kind of like where our little group started to form, and ultimately, all of us would find something. I would cover like the Ghostbuster shit, some of the entertainment stuff. Dark Horse would do some of the MMA stuff. You would be kind of like me. You would do the football and entertainment stuff. You do a little bit more relationship stuff. I would do more of the political stuff at that point in time, where I would be, saying, hey, we keep on doing this. We're going to inflate our economy, and this is what's going to happen, and yada, yada, yada. And so, like, I think that what happened was these gamer nerds that are out here now acting all fucking based and badass, and that are the new MAGA movement is what it really is they were the gamer nerds that got their ass kicked in the culture war. They were the ones calling us bigots. They were the ones calling us homophobes. They were the ones calling us xenophobes because we didn't like the fucking Barack Obama bullshit that they were trying to push out, the Affordable Health Care Act. They were all completely fucking Medicare, Medicaid for all, and they got their ass kicked whenever they were pushing the whole ban all guns and the Trans-Pacific Partnership. They got their ass handed to them by the internet because we were all mocking them, making fun of them, watching their ridiculous videos, saying how fucking stupid they are, and they couldn't hang with us. You know what I'm saying? They tried. They had their own little rifts and channels where they were trying to go ahead. But I mean, like the YouTube, you had guys like I said, Dark Horse, but you had guys out there too, like Luke Dogg, Rose Patton, that were doing the conspiracy videos. You had other sections, like you were in the trash talking community. I was in the YWC. You had the great debate communities. You had all these communities that had different aspects and was doing different shit. And then every once in a while, these communities would collide with each other, especially when we were doing works. The fucking great debate community loved it when we were doing works, like our work with when we bought the YWC. They like that shit. But the internet loved that when we were doing those works. But we were having fun. And now when the state took it over, it's just like when the state takes over anything. It's just going to be cheap. It's going to be generic. It's going to be dumbed down to the lowest common denominator so that somebody that works for the fucking state can understand the shit. And if they just don't like you, then they just ban you. And I've been shadow banned since 2017. So, I mean, that's just what it is.
When did you realize you were shadow banned in 2017?
Probably after one of the transgender videos that I did, because I came out. Now, it's weird because all these gatekeepers will go out and they'll openly say faggot, right? They just faggot, faggot, faggot. That's what it's like a trend now. Mm-hmm. What I did was I said that we should start thinking that because this is what it is. These are studies. It's the studies that you could find back in 2006 that said that, this is a condition and it's a deficiency in serotonin. And I would do videos like that and explain it. Hey, this is a study back in 2006 that I read in a popular science fucking magazine that said they had done these studies and they've come to a conclusion that homosexuality, not only transgenderism, but it really is kind of a bit of a chemical imbalance. It's a deficiency in serotonin. So,
Interesting.
yeah, and that's not a me thing. That was me looking up a study, finding it interesting, and just remembering the shit, whenever they started pushing the LGBTQ shit. Oh, okay, well, you're going to push this shit, then I want to go ahead and bring up the study that I heard about. But you can't have actual science. You can't have actual science in a fucking communist community. You can only have controlled science. What they say. Trust the science? Fuck you. I'm not going to trust your shit. So, I mean,
now they got fact checked. You've been fact checked. You're given misinformation is what they call it.
So whenever
misinformation.
Yeah. So whenever I started doing those videos back in 2017, because that's whenever the transgender shit was really taking off, and saying, hey, you know what? We need to start thinking about really looking into this condition and seeing if there isn't something more, if there isn't something to the serotonin deficiency, because these people, you're not fixing anything. You know what I'm saying? If you go over there and give them if you go ahead and switch their gender and stuff, and then all of a sudden that doesn't work and you're still having high suicide rates, there's something that's a problem, and we need to address the problem. We need to fix the problem. We don't need to be dealing as much in treatment so you can make money off of it, because these people are not happy. And, they just, the governments just these people that run these things, they don't care. They want to market off the shit, and it's cheap. And like I said, I had my chances to, monetize my channel. I had my chances to join these fucking, you did too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To sign contracts. You got contract offers too whenever we were starting the,
actually, I signed with them, and then in 2017, 2018, the ad revenue apocalypse happened, and then they said anything controversial, is going to be demonetized, and then finally they just said, we deemed your channel to be controversial, or whatever, so we're going to have to end this contract with you.
Yeah, Machinima sent me one too. Back whenever they were sending Sean went ahead and took his.
Yeah. But I took mine too.
Yeah, they sent me one, but I didn't take it because I'd already known. I said, I'm not going to work with Disney, because I think Disney had taken over Machinima at that time.
Yeah,
because I knew I was, and it was, at that point in time, there was nothing wrong with Disney. I just knew I was too edgy to do any videos, because it's my channel, and if I want to do edgy content on my channel, I did friendly, PG content too. I would do the wrestling stuff. I would do the gimmicks. My sleeper taking over was just way too fucking edgy for anything Disney at that point in time. But but if I did the gimmicks, and I worked with a lot of the e-feds and stuff like that. But I wasn't about to give control over to my channel over to Machinima, because I was a little bit too edgy. So it's like one of those things where it's like I'm making a decision that I want to keep my channel, my content, because anybody who follows me for my content, rather than having to push out the content that the Machinima wants me to. Now it's mainly state fucking back propaganda, and that's pretty much what you got to do to be an internet influencer. And one of the guys I work with says, you should try to go and be an internet influencer. Motherfucker, I was an internet influencer. The fucking Trump movement and the MAGA movement and the fucking all that shit, I was balls deep into that. And, you look at what we accomplished. I won't say just me, but, all of us here that was doing that stuff. Whenever Donald Trump was running, I think pretty much it was unanimous. Nobody wanted Hillary on the internet. Nobody wanted Hillary. Yeah. Because she was the epitome of being the state. And of course, people that are doing independent content really don't want the government to control that content. And so after Trump won, they knew that they had lost. Like I said, they had all these gamer geeks back then. These gamer geeks were the ones that were out there. We need to ban the guns. We need to go ahead and support a woman's right to choose. They were all fucking leftists. But what they ended up doing was they ended up shadow banning, pushing a lot of us off. I had my main YouTube account was deleted. They terminated that motherfucker. Then I had my Twitter deleted. I had my Facebook deleted.
Damn.
And so, that was within after 2017, 2018, right after, so that's why I'm not like fully on board with the fucking MAGA movement. These are the new MAGA motherfuckers. Donald Trump didn't do anything to repeal that HR 5181 that ended up getting all my shit banned. So there goes all my work. So
not to mention if Project 2025 kicks off, it's got censorship all written out. And the thing is remember when that censorship bill was signed by Barack Obama on May 10th of 2016, it banned all the content makers that were conservative, talking points. But then it eventually started banning the left. So anytime you have censorship bills and big tech takes over, it starts off banning the right people, but then they just ban the wrong people either way. Like everybody eventually gets banned.
Yeah. And so now they're using Israel to start to ban the left. Well, where was the left whenever I got my shit, And that's what I try to sit there and tell everybody, that was on YouTube at the time. I said, you know what? We need to do a day without internet where we turn every fucking thing off, but you're not going to get everybody to turn it off. Well, now the internet is losing traffic because, you're replacing people who were here that were putting out a quality product, and you replaced them with shills, basically, and grifters trying to push a narrative. And people are kind of tired. They were kind of tired of your shit propaganda when we were on the internet.
And a lot of video makers too, man, they used to be pretty decent. Now they're all grifters.
Right. That's why, I'm not even sure when's so the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl parade shooting thing that they had go down.
Yeah.
Now, see, ordinarily, I would stop what I would be doing, or I wouldn't stop what I was doing. I would do a video on it as soon as I could and say, okay, here's the connections with this and the guy that set himself on fire and go through some shit and do an investigation and point out some of the flaws, point out some of the stuff that it just looks funny and fishy, like it's a state. But now everybody kind of knows anyway. So immediately, most people kind of like, oh, okay, this is another thing because they've hit that button too many times where it's just not work. People have become numb to it. Yeah. And it doesn't mean that they don't. It doesn't mean that they don't care. It just means that they don't trust you. And there's a good reason why they don't trust you. So
eventually it's gonna end up like a game where you're about to lose and they're just gonna flip the table over. Like when you're about to win. That's how the government does. Like when all else fails, they'll just flip the fucking table over.
What you look at what they're doing to the economy right now, they're trying to pass all these bills. And like I said, if we have an election coming up and we've given them more than enough time to fix themselves. Donald Trump should have been that shot across the bow saying that you need to change shit because we don't like what you're doing. We know what you're doing. You think you're getting away with it. We don't like what you're doing. And mind you, that everybody in this fucking State Department, the ones that shadow ban me, the ones that sit there and say, oh, we're going to bury the prodigal hill, the ones, and everybody knows that that, whenever I did my videos, they were put out there for posterity purposes. That way, if you can't sit there and say, well, nobody told me, because if I don't say anything and it happens, then I'm partially responsible for it to happen. However, if I did a video saying that they're printing out all this stimulus money, and if they keep printing this stimulus money, your currency is going to go down, the price of everything is going to go up, and they're going to try to go ahead and convince you that you need to tax the fucking rich, which they never tax the rich. They tax you. So that means your taxes are going to go up. That means that your quality of life is going to go down.
Yeah.
And if you don't address this, well, then it's going to be a problem. Well, you know what? I put it out there. And you can call me a conspiracy theorist all the fuck you want. It's not going to change the truth.
I'll tell you the saddest thing, too, is a lot of people, were praising Trump, but they also forgot that Trump was also printing up money, too.
Yeah. Yeah. And so,
under his presidency, even when the House and Congress, even when Congress and the Senate was all controlled by Republican, he was still printing up money.
Yeah. So he was going along
for his own personal gain. Like, for example, I was talking to this black guy the other day. He said, well, Trump did a lot for the black community because he put money into the schools. He put money into this. And I was like, yeah. And where did that money come from? It came from the banks. He was printing up stimuluses to cover so he can get the black vote. And in return, he got screwed in the end because he only went from 7% to 11% of the black vote in 2020. So he still screwed himself. Huh?
Actually, Trump won in 2020 because it doesn't matter how you do the fucking math. He won in 2020.
Yeah.
I did vote for Trump in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, both are pretty bad, but I voted for him in 2016.
Okay.
So I voted for him again in 2020. I went with my mom, voted for him again. I was kind of reluctant on voting for him. And to be honest with you, I didn't really care. It didn't really bother me that much. I did the videos and stuff like that because I knew that they rigged it.
Mm-hmm.
And, I want people to understand that, the shit is rigged. It's rigged and it doesn't matter because there's no way that fucking Trump and Biden should be running again. No way. There's no way that this is America's choice. But they have to run with it. Right now, the grifters are running with it. But I think most of society as a whole, right, they're getting tired of the bullshit. And once you lose the confidence of society, and then you're going to try and flip that board over, what you're going to end up doing is it's not going to be tribunals anymore. Because like I said, whenever Trump won, the first thing the left should have said, because that's what the right did. Whenever Obama won, the Republicans reformed. They reformed in fact, they may have reformed too much because now you got in Trump, which is basically just them going left, extreme left, socialist left. But they reformed. They learned from their mistakes. And they said, this is what this is where America is right now. This is where we need to go. We need to start looking into being the more freedom-based, which, to be honest with you, the Republicans are more of the Democrats and the Democrats are more of the Republicans. If you ever look up Plato's, theory on the republics, there's only three classes. You have the philosophers, which is kind of like the elite. Then you have the auxiliary class, which is like your military, your police, and all this, and everything else is a slave class. And that's exactly how the Democrats operate. The Republicans are probably closer to a democracy where you get some semblance of autonomy in your life. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Not much, but you get some. But they're both fascist right now.
Yeah.
But they're
especially if they pass, because remember, Obama's 5181 censored the right, but then it also censored the left too. Like if you notice now, a lot of Democrats, content makers are bitching that they're shadow banned, right? So when you pass legislation like 5181 or Project 2025 or 5736, whatever the opposition you're going for is essentially going to come back your way.
Yeah.
It
depends on who.
Like 2025 is going to ban Project 2020. It's going to ban the left, and the Republican Party is going to be all happy about it. And content makers, sure, we may even crack some jokes at it saying, "Oh, it's your turn," but eventually we know it's just going to come back our way. That pendulum is going to swing back our way eventually.
Well, I don't know. I think that the pendulum this is the last time the pendulum is going to swing. It's going to swing right, but it's going to swing into a theocracy, and it's not going to go. It's not going to go anywhere after that. This is it. Because, like I said, you look at, the God is, put the shit out there on the heavens, right? You look at the solar eclipses. Like I said in the video that we did that couldn't get published on here.
Yep.
That solar eclipse between 2017, 2023, and 2024 formed a perfect aleph over the United States of America. That is oneness with God. That's what that means. And it's also the first letter, the beginning of the Hebrew alphabet. In 2027, you're going to have an eclipse over the Middle East, and that's going to be completed in 2034, and that's going to form the Tav, which means completion, which is the last letter in the Hebrew alphabet. So God put that shit out there in the signs. And like I said, I honestly don't, at this point in time, you can't talk to atheists. They're totally invested. They think that they're getting something out of not believing, which you're not going to be able to do anything for people like that. You're just not. You could sit there and talk to them. You can sit there and show them that they're wrong in the science. They'll never admit it. They'll eat a yard of their own shit before they admit that they're wrong.
Facts.
But, it's out there. And God has, set a timeline, an obvious timeline, regardless of what man thinks about it or not. And I'm not trying to sit there and say, oh, this is the end times. Jesus is about to come back. No man knoweth the day or the hour. But we should know the times and the seasons, and we can sit there and see that the harvest is ripe. And, you can be that atheist. It's, atheists are always crying about something, and they try to pretend like their lives are so perfect. Well, then you wouldn't be out here crying about everything.
Facts.
And so, they better get it together because, April is whenever that.
We're going to see the final eclipse.
That's going to be the one over the Middle East. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So it's you get one in 2027, and if you look at it, it looks just like a Tav. That's the last Hebrew letter in the Hebrew alphabet, and we just had the aleph over the United States. We had 3 eclipses, and they formed a perfect aleph. We're going to finish that up next month in April. That'll finish the mark that God put on the new world, and then he puts the Tav. He puts the aleph on the Americas, and then he puts the Tav on the Middle East. So everything's going to go back, I think. And I think that this is what this Israel thing's trying to do. I think that's what Agenda 47 is going to do, and I think that's what Project 2025 is going to do.
What's Agenda 47? What's that one?
It's just something going along. It's basically the same kind of thing as Project 2025, but it's just going into it a little bit more. It's doing a lot more stuff, but it's going to be interesting. But I told them, I said, we're going to go into a theocracy. You think that you're going to get a new world order. You think that the State Department, the government, is going to be communism. It's not how Lucifer works. All this shit, all of it was set up from fucking Cain all the way through Babylon, these mystery fucking religions. And even a lot of the Christians have been duped by some of this stuff. And they don't even know it. So they push the shit too. But, I'll put it out there. It's out there. They know. The information's out there. It's free for people to find or whatever it is. And, call me a conspiracy theorist. You can call me whatever you want to. But, whenever.
So you think by 2034, that's probably going to be a wrap then, for the world?
I think it's a good possibility because that'd be exactly 2,000 years after Jesus died. And what did it say? That, 2 days, and then the third day, he was revived. And as far as those prophecies go, a lot of them are saying that 1,000 years with the Lord is as 1 day, and 1 day is as 1,000 years. It says that in prophecy. So we're fixing to head into that third day. 2033, That'll be like the clock fixing to strike midnight in 2034 is whenever it turns. And that's whenever you're getting that TOV over the Middle East. So I'm not going to sit there and say one way or the other, but it's a good possibility.
When it ends, do you think we just disappear, or you think we die by fire, or die by water? I mean,
It doesn't say that in the Bible. That's not biblical.
oh, okay.
What is, it's not. That's not biblical. You're going to get a new heaven and a new earth. Jesus is going to reign here for 1,000 years. That's what it says in the Bible. So if
We'll die by rain.
no, it'll be a new heaven and a new earth, and then Jesus will reign on earth for 1,000 years. He'll rule. Christ will be ruling earth for 1,000 years.
Whoa.
Until it will be time to release Lucifer again for everybody to fight Lucifer. Once again, everybody will get another chance, but
Wow. So we have to fight Lucifer all over again.
Yeah, and those ones that are addicted to sin, you're not going to have to worry about it. Like I said, whenever that judgment day comes, those who are addicted to sin, those who are addicted to doing evil, are going to follow Lucifer into the lake of fire. So, God gives everybody a chance, That's why Jesus had to come back to save the world, so he could, people could be forgiven. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And be freed from sin. So, and that's what Christianity is all about. Because Christianity is the only one that says we're not perfect, we need God, and God's the only one that can make us perfect. Whereas the Lucifer religion, everything that's Luciferian says that we're evolving in some way or the other.
And you said there's no evidence that humans are evolving.
Oh, we're not. You could tell that right now.
Facts.
You could tell it. I mean, you could tell that we're being domesticated, and I've said that from the get-go. Yeah. And I'll even throw myself in there. I'm not as strong as my grandpa. I'm not out there trying to settle the fucking frontiers like my great ancestors and shit. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And, we're sitting here talking on the internet. I'm in an air-conditioned house. I'm going to be driving my car to work and whatnot. You look at these little masks, these little face diapers that we're wearing now every time you get the fucking flu season comes around.
Yeah.
And, so that just tells you that we're not evolving. If you're weaker, if your immune system is weaker, then you're not evolving. So, yeah.
That's interesting.
Evolution is an absolute 110%. It's not even a possibility. It's impossible for fucking evolution to even be considered a possibility. It's impossible to even be considered.
I wonder how atheists get this idea that we came from nothing. Like, what the fuck?
It was all of this is basically it came from, like I said, Lucifer has been running this stuff ever since Babylon, and the atheist stuff is actually a lot of it came from the Hindus, to be honest with you. It came from Hindu beliefs in India and whatnot. It's a lot of the concepts of the evolution came from John Locke whenever he went to the Middle East. And basically, Erasmus is the one that kind of set the template for evolution. And it was actually George Lemire, I think his name, which was a Catholic priest that came up with the Big Bang. So all of this was being pushed by the British Royal Society. And that was during the Enlightenment era. And a lot of the Enlightenment era was from concepts based off of Plato, Pythagoras, Aristotle, the Greek philosophers, basically. They had came up with the state concept, the first horn is what I call it. Like, we have two horns. We're the second beast. We have two horns. So they come up with the more secular democracy by Cleonation. Cleonation. I can't pronounce the guy's name. Pythagoras, or Plato is the one that came up with the republics. So that's where you get your two parties. And this is from ancient Greece. So they were pushing this shit. And the whole deal is when you had the French Revolution, right? The French Revolution is the deadly wound to the first beast, which was the Holy Roman Empire. The Antichrist. Another Christ, it was the seat of the mystery religions that were passed down. What happened was whenever Babylon was taken over, the first emperor, Nimrod of Babylon, right? It was him and his wife. He was the king of Babylon, but he also claimed to be God as well. And this is based because his wife understood that spiritual authority backs up temporal authority. So his wife was like the high priest, and he made himself the sun god. This is where sun worship started. And basically they had set up a religion based off of mysteries, studying of stars, astrology, tarot readings, palm readings, numerology. All this comes from Babylon. And this is what the relationship, this is how they would do a lot of sex occult practice, magic, and stuff like that they were practicing in Babylon. And this was them setting up their own Luciferian religion. Because at that point in time, they were the world superpower. And, like I said, so at one point in time, when Nimrod dies, then ultimately, I think that right after Nimrod died, Semiramis, which was his wife, had a kid, and then he became kind of ruler. He was Nimrod reincarnated. And I think that whenever Tammuz got to be too powerful, Semiramis tried to have him killed, but he had her killed before, she could betray him. So ever since then, it was the ruler of Babylon was the god. He was the god, the king, and he was the high priest all together. One title, one position, one man.
Wow.
And this remained the case the whole time that Babylon was there, is that, the Babylonian king was worshipped as God and high priest and king. That was, it was all in one title. And it remained that way all the way to the fall of Babylon, whenever King Cyrus come in, took out Nimrod, then that the high priest was no more. They had killed the high priest, which was Belshazzar at that point in time. And so there was no high priest. However, the priest of Babylon took a detour to Pergamos. They went and relocated to Pergamos, and they started opening up universities, colleges, teaching these old mystery religions from Babylon.
Wow.
Well, they just made the king of Pergamos the high priest. And so ultimately, that's the way it was all the way through the Persian Empire, all the way through the Greek Empire, until you get the Roman Empire. And whenever the king of Pergamos ended up passing away, Attila, he ended up donating that title to the Romans. Well, 70 years later, that title would be adopted by Julius Caesar. So Julius Caesar then became king, god, and high priest, using that. So he deified himself, basically. And then that title was held by the Romans all the way up. I think maybe somebody dropped it at one point in time. I forget which king dropped it. It was the one after Constantine. But that title would then be picked up again, and it's been held by the Pope ever since. So the Pope is actually the head of the mystery Babylon religions, just like it says in the Bible.
Wow.
He's held that title ever since. And that's where the title come from. It come from Pergamos. If you read the Bible, it talks about the seed of Satan, and that's exactly what they're referring to. Is that, the papacy has held that title. So he holds that title of being the Antichrist, another Christ. It doesn't mean it's like, he did think to change times and laws, which he did, but it doesn't mean that necessarily it's against Christ. It just means it's another Christ. And that's exactly what happened. They kind of paganized Christianity to a degree. But like I said, on the other end, where the Catholics were paganizing Christianity. The Jews were writing the Cabal to paganize Judaism at the time, or Hebrew, their Hebrew religion, to match up with the Talmud. And so, that's kind of like what they were doing. So, now what you're going to have is, since the state, because like I said, when the French Revolution came through, everybody was tired of the religions. They had already had the Jesuits. They had already did the Crusades. They had already had the Dark Ages, the Catholic Church. You've had the Protestant Reformation, where they were trying to control the religions. People had had enough of the Catholic Church and their treachery, and they're using people and all this kind of stuff. And after the Dark Ages, people had had enough with the Jesuits. And so that's where you got the French Revolution, where they were basically overthrowing the Catholic authority. And so this is where you get the setup of trying to set up everything secular. That's what they were trying to do. Hell, in the French Revolution, after they had, did their French Revolution, they were trying to start the years from the day of the after they won the French Revolution in 1792. So that would have been the first day of the year. But, they were setting up 10-day weeks, and a month would be 3 weeks to try and avoid getting, man, they were doing all kinds of crazy shit. They were trying to change it, but, ultimately they weren't very successful. Napoleon was defeated at Waterloo, and that kind of put a stop to all that kind of stuff. But, he's the one that captured the Pope, and it fulfilled that part of Revelation, where the time frame that the Pope had to meet, which the Pope pretty much got its authority of being a kingmaker in 538. That's whenever he was ruling over Europe and making all these kings. And 1798 was the year that Napoleon had the Pope arrested, and that's whenever the Pope lost all his power, pretty much. That's how that went down.
So what happened to Napoleon? What did happen to him?
Well, he ended up getting exiled after he lost. I think he had escaped exile at one point in time and got exiled again. So he got exiled twice. Napoleon was a bad motherfucker, dude. He was that dude.
Did he invade Russia or something like that?
He tried to. He wasn't successful. Russia's kind of a hard place to go to war with, Yeah. Because of the land. But, he tried to, but he wasn't that successful.
So if the United States went to war with Russia, we wouldn't win that one, huh?
I doubt it. We don't have the military capabilities, and the government doesn't have enough of confidence. And it's really kind of hard for them to start any more of these wars, especially now that you have the internet. And if you've got a friend in Sicily, you don't really want to go to fucking war with people over there. If you got a friend, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of connected us a little bit, where if I got a friend in Lebanon, I'll, talk to him whenever they're doing the fucking Israel is doing the strikes and shit. And these motherfuckers are like, we need to send them more money. Whose money? Yours? And in fact, you know what? Go ahead and dump out all your fucking bank account. I want to see all you motherfuckers broke.
Yeah.
If we're going to donate money to Israel, then let it be your money, not mine. Because I don't agree with the way y'all are handling shit over there. So why should I chip in?
So Napoleon had the Pope arrested in 1798, and that's when the Pope lost his power.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And like I said, if you go back and look, all that authority was invested into the United States of America. That's why we had the Treaty of Paris. The Catholics already knew that they were losing power. They had already known that their empire was collapsing, and the British had already beat them on almost every front. So they knew that they were losing their power and their control. So like the Catholics invested a lot in the United States, to make sure and secure that we won our liberty and our independence over here, so we can have a separation of church and state. It was mainly the Catholics are the reasons. In fact, it was the Catholic Lafayette, was his name, Marquis Lafayette. He was the one that actually captured Cornwallis, and he was a French aristocrat. And it was John. I forget. It was a French. It was a French admiral that ended up securing the victory in the Battle of Chesapeake Bay. That ended up defeating, because we didn't have a navy like the French to compete with the British.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't have the troops to compete with the British. Not military fighting. We had, like, you know, it'd be like Antifa and fucking Black Lives Matters trying to form up and fight a real military group. You know, like the Russians or something. They get their ass handed to them in a matter of minutes.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we wasn't able to go and fight, because the British Empire was the biggest empire at that point in time. So we needed the French, we needed the Spanish, we needed the Catholic aristocrats to come and invest in, you know, with, it was actually really popular with the French investing in art, because they figured, hey, you know, this is going to be a loss for Britain if we help the Americans out. So let's go ahead and help the colonies free themselves, so, you know, they could still have a stake in this country. And that's what they did. And so, you know, the first beast gave, you know, its power and its authority to the second beast, which was the United States of America.
Wow. So how did United States earn the second beast?
Huh?
How did United States become the second beast?
Because it's a superpower now. You know,
right.
Like I said, the authority was given to the United States through the Treaty of Paris. So it was like the last king that the Pope ever made, really, was the president of the United States.
Wow.
Because that's technically where all of our, you know, they say, oh, yeah, it's in the Constitution, but we weren't really acknowledged as a sovereign country until the Treaty of Paris, when we all came to the table, and the British agreed to terms with the Treaty of Paris to go ahead and give us our sovereign rights in this country.
Wow.
And then, like I said, up until that point, we were it's a lamb-like, because we started off as Christian. You go back and look, it was founded by, you know, I mean, you had the Great Puritan Migration, which we call them pilgrims, but they were Puritans coming to this country because they didn't like the reforms that were going on in Europe. And that's whenever the United States started to colonize. That's why everything here, you get the Philadelphia, which is the Church of Philadelphia, which I think has a lot to do with the Christians here in this country. And, you know, you know, the Bible's it's weird how accurate it is in its predictions. And so, you know, we became the second beast of Revelations, because we have a separation of church and state. Those are the two horns. The freedom of religion and the separation of church and state. That's the two horns.
Interesting.
We have a president, but we don't have a king, but we don't have a religious leader neither. We have freedom of church and state. So.
Wow.
And it says
how many
that
beasts are there? Is it just 2 beasts, or is there 3?
It's 2. It's 2 for the book of Revelations. Now, you do have another prophecy with 4 beasts in it, but that's just going back through the old empires. It's going back through Babylon, Greece, Rome, and then the Holy Roman Empire.
Oh, wow.
All right, it's Babylon, Persia, Greece, and the Roman Empire.
So how do you think the Roman Empire fell? What do you think that made them fall?
The original Roman Empire?
Yeah.
It was the Germanic barbarian, because that's where you get the 10 horns.
Oh.
It was the Lombards, the Visigoths, the Sueve, that one's a hard one to pronounce, the Burgundians, the Saxons, the Franks, but they're all countries in Europe, basically. Yeah. And then the Vandals, the Ostrogoths, and the Aruli, were all plucked up from the root, just like it said in the Bible. And then the papacy came up, which was the little horn. So, you had 10 tribes, 10 barbarian tribes that took out the old Roman Empire. And then 3 of those were plucked up, which then it became the Holy Roman Empire, which became the papacy. And so that's whenever the first beast, rose out of the sea, which is a multitude of nations, peoples, and tongues, what the Bible says, which is exactly what it was. The second beast rises out of the earth, which is just the opposite of a multitude, nation, people, and tongues. It'd be a less populated area. And that's why, really at the end of the day, the United States is the only one that qualifies as being the second beast.
Because if it wasn't the United States, who else would it be? I mean,
Yeah, it couldn't be anybody else. You just couldn't. So,
where would you put Israel in all this?
I think that, and a lot of people say that the Whore of Babylon is the Catholic Church, but I don't know. It's like, God has always referred to Israel as a woman, and Israel has turned their back on God. First off, to Hathor, which was, one of the Egyptian goddesses and stuff like that. They turned their back for Baal, you know what I'm saying? Ashtoreth, and then they turned their back on him for Moloch, and they're still in Moloch right now. And they got the fucking Star of Remphan on their flag. So, they're still worshiping Moloch. So, I meant, that's certainly not anything that, we would want to take part of. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't think that the rightful people of Israel are in Israel right now. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's like, these people claim that they're Jews, but you go back and look and read the message to the Church of Philadelphia. It says, basically, that's the one that I think refers, if I was to guess, to which message, to which, people that God was delivering these messages to. I think that clearly here in this country, for the believers in this country, at least the Christian believers, that we fall under the Church of Philadelphia, which it says, for those people over there that claim they are Jews but are not, but as a synagogue of Satan, it's hard to sit there and deny what these people are doing right now. So, and Satan uses them because they're pushing Satan's agenda for sure.
Wow. So where did Christianity start up at? Because some people said it started in Africa. I mean, I don't know, there's some like old guy that argues with college students talking about Christianity started in Ethiopia, but I don't know. I mean, it's kind of hard to say, right?
I don't think that Christianity started in Ethiopia. I do believe it started in Israel. I do believe that.
Oh, wow.
Now, that doesn't mean that Jesus wasn't in Ethiopia. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because we're pretty sure that he did a lot of traveling, especially whenever he was basically hiding from the Romans back in his day. But I don't think that Jesus's ministry didn't start until he was in Israel, and that's pretty much what started Christianity, was whenever he got to Israel. So, I mean, it is what it is. We know where the origin is. We know where the writings are. We know that through certain documents, not even just, the New Testament, through accounts of other chronicles from the Jewish and from the Romans at the time, that basically this is where the Christianity started, was in these areas. So if it came from
Israel,
yeah. So if it came from Ethiopia, you would think that the scriptures, that the New Testament anyways, because the New Testament's where Christianity begins.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because you can't have Christianity without Christ first.
Okay.
So you have to have Christ to have Christianity.
Okay.
Now, maybe some of the Hebrew text, the Old Testament, the Tanakh, yeah, maybe, you can make a case that, some of that stuff was in Israel. I mean, in Ethiopia. Maybe a lot of that laid the groundwork for it, but,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that there was 12 tribes of Israel,
Okay.
and so they probably spread out. So there's no doubt that there was probably some teaching of Yahweh or Elohim, as we call him, in Ethiopia. And like I said, it only takes one descendant from Abraham to claim that you're a descendant from Abraham. And like I said, by the time Jesus rolled around, that's 2,000 years from Abraham. And if you
Wow.
went back and you trace back, you went back through your lineage, like I said, one generation after another, tracking back how many relatives you had, for them to sit there, for the Jews to sit there and say, oh, yeah, we're all God's chosen people. We're all God's chosen people. That would be hard to see which ones were from the seed of Abraham or not, because more than likely everybody had a seed, had a right to claim the seed of Abraham. They had a relative, descended from Abraham.
Wow. Do you think Lucifer is walking around the earth or not really?
Oh, yeah. But like I said, it's a spirit really more than it is anything, an idea, kind of like a lot of concepts. But yeah, Lucifer is still here. He never left. He's been here since the beginning. Started off with Cain, and he's a mark more than he is really anything. But
Azazel, you don't think Azazel is Lucifer? He's probably just something separate to you, right? Like another.
yeah, he's probably just Lucifer under another name.
Wow. That's
He's got
crazy.
so many names. But like like I said, Lucifer is kind of more of an idea or a concept, basically. Lucifer is the negative side of humanity that pretends to be light, and then Elohim, God, our Creator, is a good thing. It's basically love. It says it in the Bible. It explains it all. But like a lot of people just want to take parts of the Bible and then live by that.
So
And then
which part of the Bible you like? Do you like the Old Testament or the New Testament, or is there you like both? Hello?
there's certain stuff I like in both. But I like Elijah's like my favorite prophet because Elijah was kind of a troll. So
Oh shit, Lawrence Williams, what's going on? Long time no see, man.
yeah,
My bad. I
yeah.
didn't
You
mean to
just
keep you
noticed
up,
that?
Prodigal.
That's what I said. I said that earlier. Talking about them New England Patriots.
Oh yeah, he's a Patriots fan. I forgot about that. I know, Prodigal. You're kind of a Patriots fan and a Cowboys fan, are you? But I see you more as a Cowboys fan than anything.
Well, the Cowboys usually need the most work. The Patriots know what they're doing.
So I guess Bill Belichick's not going anywhere. He's not going to sign with anyone.
Either that or he's waiting for Cowboys to get a good team. He's going to let Mike McCarthy fuck it up.
Imagine if Bill Belichick came into Dallas, bro.
But hey, man, I'm going to let you go, dude. I got to get up and go to work tomorrow.
Man. It was good talking to you, man. You take
All right,
care,
man.
all right?
All right, have a good one.
All right, bye.